really good and we've seen the really bad of what Canada can look like. And I'm
Brazil are dangerous, but I'm not entirely convinced.
going to be my harshest take.
Belgium's golden era is done.
Hey guys, welcome back to the TBG podcast. This is number 8. Something we've been looking forward to for a bunch of months is the World Cup preview, and we're finally here. And we're only a week away. And I can't wait to look through some of these teams with you. Like, we've done a lot of research, me and Graham.
6 days. Can't believe it.
Six
Or no,
days.
is it 5 now? It's Thursday.
When this comes
Thursday.
out, it'll probably be 4 or 3, but in general, like, it just can't believe it just snuck up on us like this. And now I'm like fully in the vibe for it. Like, I made a World Cup playlist with all the songs that I
No,
used to listen to.
it's insane. I don't know. It feels like almost like what four? How long ago was it announced? But I feel it's like when it was like announced, I'm like, oh, it's so far away. And now that we're like the World Cup, I don't know. I'm just seeing everyone's buzzing for it online for two. Like I'm seeing all the I don't know, like the World Cup Legos are going up. You're seeing everyone going downtown Toronto. But
I
yeah,
know it looks really cool. I'm not going to get too much into the distractions around everything.
no,
I literally saw something on Twitter like just 5 minutes ago that was super distracting for Iran particularly, but we're going to try to shy away from that. I think we're going to go through the groups one by one, and I think we're going to start with Group A. What I want to lead off here with is this is a rematch of 16 years ago. This is the exact rematch, but switched around. This is Mexico versus South Africa when Shabalala scored that crazy goal and Mexico upset the party to draw 1-1. I think that's incredible to start off the World Cup with that sort of game.
yeah. I don't imagine it's just 1-1 again.
I could see it. I could see. I mean, I think Mexico's heavily favored in that.
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
but I mean, if I look at Mexico, so Mexico's looked a lot better this year, as in terms of their form and stuff. But people kind of forget, like they played 39 out of their 49 home games on U.S. soil in 2025 because they were in fear of like vitriol and jeering, sorry, from their own supporters. So they've had a rough go over the last couple of years, and I know they're hosts, and I think they're heavily favored to win this group. And they absolutely could. Like, they have your old boy Edson Alvarez, who I really like as a player. I think he's the captain. Raul Jimenez, he's kind of aging out. This will be his last. I'd like to assume. Um, I like the way Mexico looks. I don't think I'm going to pick them to win this group, but I find it hard pressed to see them not make it past this round.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's tough because obviously in Qatar they didn't make it out of the group stage, so I think
No,
they're gonna have a lot to prove this time around. And obviously you're at home too, right? So I think that's the biggest thing. And yeah, I'm
their
interested.
expectations high. Their expectations high. Like, they've been to the last 8 World Cups, yeah, but they've never made it past the round of 16. In fact, they lost in the round of 16 7 straight times, and then in Qatar they didn't end up making the group stage. So it seems like their expectations always really high, but they've never gotten there. But that's kind of why it's like Mexico sports just waiting for this one tournament where they could go and do it.
No better place than to do it at home.
And in this format too, like, where you don't actually necessarily have to play super well in the group stage. You just have to get through and hope that, well, I guess not hope, but you could absolutely have a cakewalk for the round of 32 game or the round of 16 game, just based on how this format's gonna shape out. I don't Now, me personally, I don't think they're gonna have much trouble with South Africa, but I think it's exciting that South Africa's back. I mean, they're no heavyweight. I don't think they're going to be super dangerous, but they could be anyone's bogey team here in this group.
I don't know because they have who is it? Lau Foster from Burnley.
Lyle Foster,
Yeah,
Taboho Mokeana, their top scorer, their captain's the goalkeeper. They kind of
yeah,
just play like a 4-2-3-1. They counterattack, speed down the wings. Like, they're very typical in terms of the kind of typical African outfit that kind of squeaks into this World Cup. But I, they've only
yeah.
won 2 World Cup matches in their history, and one was to like a broken France team in 2010 when they had
I
all their stuff going on.
I don't think they've made it out of the group stage before though. No,
I don't think so.
no,
No,
yeah, I don't.
I
I don't
don't
think
think
they
they would
have.
have. I would have
Yeah,
heard about that.
because I know this is their fourth World Cup appearance.
Yeah, this is. I don't think they've fared too well. They've only won 2 matches, and I know if they've won the one in 2010, and they didn't make it out of that group, that it's more than likely that they haven't made it out of the groups at all. Um, I don't think anyone's picking South Africa to make any decent noise, but it'll be interesting to see how they fare in a group like this because the group's kind of up there. It's kind of up in the air. Like you're gonna hear us say that a lot with each group. Like there's a lot of groups here that are kind of weak because of the expansion.
I know, like you were saying before, though, anyone at this point, like you don't. I know everyone has a chance. If you really think about it, there's one
Yeah,
upset and like one team. Like I know for sure, there's definitely some groups we have like expectations that well, a couple teams aren't going to win a single game, and you never know. Two draws maybe or one win, and you're in it, right? So I think just the new format.
yeah.
There's a lot of unknown. I would say
I saw
you
the
can have your
probability. Yeah,
yeah, you can have your predictions, but I think there could be, and I think this also gives like more opportunity for a couple like dark horses. I feel like every World Cup there's always kind of one, but I feel like now with the new format, there's a chance for maybe two or three who are like, okay, they're actually making a run.
yeah. Because I have goals written down for every single team here of like what stage they would want to reach, and I think I have like 4 or 5 teams. I just have win a game. I think one of them I have get a result because it's like they're so new into the World Cup. They're so up against it that like even just getting a result would be such a massive thing to their to their World Cup history because they hadn't gotten one before that. Like for South Africa, I have knockouts plainly because they've won 2 matches of the World Cup, and I would feel like their expectation is like, okay, can we find a way to squeak out of this group? So like Mexico, for instance, I don't have them winning this group. I do think they could be considered like to be the strongest, and being a host in any regard is like super important to how the World Cup shapes out. We see how, with maybe the exception of Qatar 4 years ago, the hosts typically do well, or at least it takes them to a certain stage of the tournament.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have them actually, and I've like thinking about it. In my opinion, yeah, I have Mexico winning it right now, but also at the same
The
time, I
group,
think
yeah.
I think again like check are there as well, so it's is tough. Who do you have winning it? I'm curious.
Oh, I'm gonna move. Yeah, so let me. I'm gonna move to
Yeah,
South. I'm gonna move to South Korea. I have South Korea winning this group, and I don't think a lot of people have them winning it. I think them and Czechs are tied for second most favorable to win to finish second. I really like the fact that they have a manager that they've stuck with for a long time. I like Son being kind of in his last World Cup. I like Kang In Lee a lot. I think he could be one of the breakout stars. Like he's
yeah.
on that PSG team, but they don't play him because they have so many better players. But I think his underlying metrics are really good as an attacking winger,
He's got a lot to prove because I think it was I saw or I read that he's out of PSG after this year. Like they're gonna allow him to leave.
which
So
makes a lot of
he
sense. He's not playing.
yeah
Yeah,
no, but again yeah I mean that's interesting.
I have their goals the round of 16, and even winning this group doesn't mean I think they're going to win that round of 32 game, depending on how they get through. But I do have them winning this group just as a, I don't know. I like the way the South Koreans have kind of built momentum from previous tournaments. It's their 12th consecutive tournament. They've never won their group, so I know how risky this pick is. They had the semifinal run in 2002, and then they had like recent scalps against, in my opinion, better opposition leading up to the tournament. The manager was a leader in the 2002 team that created a little bit of magic. So it's a little bit romantic, this pick, but I actually quite like how South Korea looks. And I completely understand that if they play that first game to Czechia and lose, that this is going to look silly. But I actually really like how they set up
Question
personally.
though, like how much are you taking into account like the weather in these picks? Because I know the heat is a
Yeah,
huge topic going into like the World Cup, and
yeah,
I think I've kind of gone off a lot of like I think we're not like
conditions.
over
Yeah,
analyzing it, but like in my opinion, like I think all the games are going to be slower just because the pitches are going to be a lot drier. It's going to be a lot
yeah,
more stoppages, so I think it's going to kill the flow of the game a bit more. I get where you're coming from with South Korea. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I have them finishing third in my group. Third,
yeah,
yeah. But again, I honestly would agree with you in the sense you could argue them for second. I think just the experience and then also just like again, like yeah, they have some quality players. Quality players.
yeah.
So
I'd be shocked to see anyone pick South Africa to finish first in this group. Not that they can't, because the World Cup is crazy in that way, and these groups have never been more of a toss up. At least at least a handful of them in this tournament. you could really chalk up and say, I don't know who's going to win this group. But I think out of the three teams, you could argue that Mexico, South Korea, or Czech could just show up with their best and win the group somehow. But
Yeah,
I do agree with you that Mexico probably has, like, because they're hosts, because they know the terrain, because they've been used to the fields, that they could be well adjusted to it. But a lot of these guys play in Europe, right? Like a lot, like Kang and Lee, Heung-min Son, Jason Lee, they all play in Europe. So I mean, I even forgot to include what's the Bayern center back.
yeah. What's his name?
Ming, I forget
Kim
it.
Min Jae. Kim Min
Yes,
Jae.
and he's
Didn't
a
didn't play a lot with Bayern this year, but again, like he's been
quality
there
player, and
before
he'll be
for
important
this
for
one.
them. Yeah,
Yeah.
played at a high
Again,
level.
I think too with this World Cup, I don't know if this is the right way of saying it, but I think we're gonna have a lot of teams where it's like Mexico may be like South Africa, but then like they may tie Czech, but then like South
Yeah,
Africa could tie Czech.
it
So I
could
think
be a
we're gonna
weird
get
one.
a lot of these mixes of results, which I think is
Yeah.
just gonna like blow the groups up. And I think there's now more opportunity for like upsets to happen, right?
hmm I
So and
I think the reason I
it
didn't pick Czech to do too well personally is because they feel to me like a lot of this is based off gut feeling. I can do as much research as I want,
oh
but
yeah.
like you go back to like how they performed the previous tournaments, they feel like a Euros team. You know, like some European teams feel like they can play well at the Euros and they don't really do well in the in the World Cup. Like I think they're organized, they're structurally sound. I really like Thomas Suchek. I'm just shouting out West Ham players in the group A. I really like Suchek. I really like Patrick Schick, Leverkusen, but I don't think they're necessarily, they don't have like that magic to me that if they're not playing well that they can kind of get it out. Like they could be one dimensional is
I
what I'm saying.
think I think they have a lot of returning players though, do they not? So again, and I think international football goes in the sense you can have all these individual players, but again, it's just off like chemistry. That's just like the
It's true.
biggest thing. The
Yeah.
biggest thing, and again, that's with like this World Cup. Like it's every World Cup. You need luck too. That's like
Yeah.
it plays a
So
huge factor. But
yeah, absolutely. So who do you have finishing? Do you have Mexico topping the group?
I have Mexico. I do. Yes, I have Mexico topping in the group, and then I have South Korea second, Czech third, and then South Africa.
Okay, so we only have one difference. I have Korea. I did the game by game. It doesn't really matter because I mean these are going to be wrong, but I have Korea with 7 points. Mexico. It does the points don't matter. I have Korea, Mexico, Czech Republic, South Africa, um, and that's not too different. Realistically, it's not too different. But again, like the World Cup's so strange with
We
these
could
sort
be
of.
totally wrong. We're gonna come back and watch. It's gonna be like South Africa is number one.
Well, the thing is, like we go back in history. Like look at the 2014 group where England, Italy, and Uruguay was in that like group of death, and Costa Rica won it. Like we could look dumb, but that's just like anything could happen.
Again, and I think this is gonna be another. It's just like I always say it with just like it, you can't like judge the group solely like off kind of like the first game. I don't know if like the World Cup's gonna kind of be the same. Like it was like Argentina losing to Saudi Arabia. Everyone was like going in like
Yeah.
oh Argentina and then like all like the and then because I think what was it Saudi Arabia was Mexico Argentina. I don't want to get into it too much. Right?
Saudi Arabia, Mexico, Argentina, and I think it was Poland. And you're right, like they lost that first game to Saudi Arabia, and you know what? That's also happened when Spain won their first World Cup because they lost to Switzerland in
Yeah, so
2010.
I
So it's
again like
happened before. It
it's
could be
just
a
I
good
think
wake up call.
yeah I think we'll see early. I think we're gonna see early on though like who we think is really gonna like go through versus like last time where it's only like two right. So but
And also, we could look at like just the last note, kind of on. It's not. It's generally on the tournament, not in Group A. I looked at the probability of like if you finish on X points, like what does that mean for advancing? If you finish on 4 points, you have like a 98% chance of advancing, regardless of whether you're second or third. You could even. I mean, you can't finish fourth, but there is a world in which you get to 4 points and finish fourth in the group. It would have to be very strange, but it could work out like that, and that's probably the only chance you're not going to get in on 4 points.
question for you too before I will get into the next group. Do you think there's a chance that we're gonna see teams? Let's just say they win their first two games, 6 points, or like okay we're on to the next round. Is it like your third game? Do I maybe rest some starters a little bit, or is it like
Absolutely.
you play them 45? But then also I think you got to like kind of get into that's where it's going to be so interesting because the logistics of like okay who are we going to
Yeah.
like likely play in the next round? If it's like okay we're going to end up playing like a Portugal or like a Spain or something, it's like okay
Because I think
maybe we
Portugal,
do rest.
yeah.
So
Sorry, I cut you off. Yeah.
I think that's going to be interesting to see, but also at the same time, like it's a World Cup, players want to play, guys are going to want to score. I think so. It's
Yeah.
gonna there's gonna be a mix of it, but again, I think that's where like picking the team over just like yourself, ego is gonna be interesting to see. Like I know Ronaldo,
Yeah.
he's just gonna score in the group stage, and then we're not gonna see him. It's just how it goes every time. But you know
I'm
what?
I'm so interested. Well, once we get to Portugal, I'm really interested in talking about Ronaldo and how they incorporate it and how they baby him through the tournament. I mean, he's phenomenal. He's the second best of his generation, but like I'm very curious to see how they baby him through this tournament.
I know, so am I.
Do you want to move on to Group B?
Let's do it.
Okay. Well, no better place to start than Canada. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're probably feeling the pressure a little bit. I would say it's probably gonna creep in more and more every single day. Um, I'm I don't know. Again, watching the two friendlies, I think it's like it's easy to criticize them early on, and I'm giving them a little bit of lenience on the sense we have a lot of guys who are coming back from injury.
Yeah.
It's openly out there. Davies isn't play, or like he's not playing the first game for sure.
Probably not the
And
second or third.
yeah, and then
Like
I wanted to.
he's okay. Like down the stretch, I
Yeah,
think he could if they keep making it further. But
I think he plays if any. I don't know. Like it's hard then too. Like if they go into the next round, he hasn't played. It's like do you mix up what's been working?
yeah.
Again, there's so many scenarios of what happens, but I wanted your opinion actually on the goalie situation. Just before we get into like the full, I just wanted your
Um.
opinion on his choice. I'll be honest with you. I think Kerpo is just. I think it just seems, in my opinion, like I agree with it. I think
Mhm.
shot stopping, we've seen that. The only like okay, maybe we talk about distribution a little bit, but at the end of the day, like I think Crapo deserves it, and considering what he's
I,
gone, through, yeah,
I think when you go into international tournaments, it's very difficult when you have two goalkeepers as a manager. When you have two goalkeepers who are very similar, like no one's head above shoulders above the other one.
no, no,
And I probably wouldn't have been too mad if he picked either. But seeing how Crepo's played in the last two, that kind of validates him already. Like,
there's
there's no
no
way
choice.
Dane Sink because he's saved the penalty. I know they scored off the rebound of the penalty, but even just saving a penalty is a
Confidence.
huge confidence boost going into a World Cup where penalties could be so prevalent. Whether that's the knockouts or whether we concede one, considering our defense looks shaky right now. Um,
It's
I think Canada in general is a mixed bag because like my goal for them is round of 16, but realistically our goal is to get out of this group. I
I
know it's a
think
really easy group, but the goal I set was round of 16. It should be knockouts. This is just
oh
my
yeah,
biased bag going in because I
based
think we could
I'll be
go to the
honest
round
with you,
16.
and like we have to be knockouts just solely on like our squad too. Like I think our squad is underappreciated in my opinion. And if, again, like you can ask England fans, Spain fans for saying, Canada, like, but again, like I actually think like Canadians are like we're actually like this is by far the best team Canada's ever had, without a doubt.
For sure.
No one's gonna argue that.
For sure.
I think again with all the European players we have now, and just I think there is a bit of a buzz. I think maybe okay, we're a little stressed with the Thai Republic of Ireland 1-1 in a friendly game. It's like there's some shaky stuff, but again, like
Not a bad team.
that's why we play the friendlies.
Not a bad team though.
And
Ireland's not a bad team.
yeah, and
Like yeah.
we have guys now I think who have actual like not just Alfonso Davies who has experience in like Europe and big games. Like now we have like we can go into like some of like I think Buchanan's going to be a huge player for us without a doubt.
Great player. I'm excited to watch him play. I do have a slight. My two worries right now. My midfield is not as much of a worry. I think Kone's in and out, but I think when the lights are going to shine, I think he'll play really well. I think we have really good midfielders to back him up. Um, my two issues right now is that we can't find a striker who's consistent. Kyle Laren, I can't hear enough bad things about Kyle Laren on Twitter,
Yeah, they
and
don't.
Jonathan
He's
David is not exactly firing on all cylinders. He's been kind of acknowledged as a bust at Juve, so he's not. His confidence isn't like sky high here. He's the best we have, no question, but is that good enough when we need goals, right?
Yeah. Again, like it goes into the experience factor of Promise David wasn't at the last World Cup. I don't think he was. But then like obviously you have Laren and David who were both there. Okay, they have World Cup experience, but then
Yeah,
also like I think like a big thing is just like form and like what's like really gonna work. Like okay, we can go Laren and David. They have the experience and all that, but like they haven't shown in the last few games, you know. So again, you don't know like how he's gonna go about it, but it's like it would be in my opinion, it's extremely bold if you're gonna start promise David over like Laren, let's just say for example. But I think
Yeah.
Laren's got one shot. Like Jesse Marsh is probably like in his mind. I don't know if he's been open, but he's probably like, okay, let's see how you do. We're gonna give you maybe 50, 60 minutes. If there's nothing, promise David. And that's the thing, promise you don't know he scores, and you have to start him. I
Yeah.
think in that
Absolutely.
sense. But I agree with you on the midfield piece. I think like Eustachio's kind of like, I mean, yes, he had experience in Porto, now he's LA. I think Chouanier is great just because Chouanier plays simple. He wins like a lot of second balls.
I like Flores,
Yeah,
Marcelo Flores.
or he's
Didn't he get
out.
injured? But
Yeah,
but in terms of our depth, I really like the depth that we have.
yeah, Flores is out of the World Cup.
Yeah, that was sad. I liked
That's
Flores quite a bit.
and
That was a
I
huge blow. But I
yeah
really like Kone. I think
I
Kone could
said
actually explode in this World Cup,
yeah, and
and
like
I'm
I think
hoping he does because he has the ability to.
oh yeah, and I know Flores. I think was like he was like Marsh was playing him out wide, so I
Hmm.
think now it's in the sense of do you bring in Jaden Nelson, Ralph Prizo? Ralph Prizo's played well. Again, he's coming back from injury too, right? So it's another one of
Yeah,
the situations of how are we
yeah,
how are we going to approach it? But yeah, the back line, I think everyone's lit a little worried.
shaky, just a little shaky. They had that one spot against Uzbekistan where that ball gets played over the top and then they hit into each other, and you're just like, I I I
We got to
I,
put it
I
up.
compare it to like the equivalent of like a bad range session. I'm like, I'm hoping to get all the shanks out like in the friendlies and we won't see it again. But I won't pretend like we didn't watch what's his name, the old goalkeeper, have that horror show against Morocco, and then us just look absolutely desperate against Croatia as we're trying to chase the game. We've seen it. Like
It,
we've seen the really good and we've seen the really bad of what Canada can look like, and I'm just hoping that we can veer towards that more consistent lane and get over the big thing right now. Right, is there's one team in there that's clearly better than Canada, but there's two teams that are clearly not better than Canada by a large margin. I think Bosnia is more technically sound than us. I think that's obvious, but we are much more physical and athletic. And
Jekko
then
worries
Qatar,
me.
we're better. We're better than Qatar. If we don't beat Qatar, we don't deserve to go through.
No, I
Genuinely.
know, but like that's where like with Canada, Jekko worries me. That's what like really worries me.
Yes.
It's just like his experience and like,
Preying on young
well,
center backs would be
yeah,
a tough one.
but
I know
again,
he's 40, but like,
who do you think? Like I guess with their back line, I mean, I think you have to do Bombito and Cornelius. I think those are the guys that stand out and
and
just
those are the guys he's picked. And I trust Jesse Marsh to get it
yeah.
right. I think this
And
is, yeah, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, I think like Richie Larea, I think's proven why he has to play. Obviously, Alfonso Davies is out, so it changes it a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but
Alistair Johnson's been a little bit shaky, but I like him as a
I
center
think you
back, left
have
back
to.
option. Yeah.
Because then, if you look at that point, there's three European players in your back line who have played in like genuine. I think the biggest thing too is like having guys like especially for like these young teams who have like I think you do need the sense of like the experience, just a little bit of like, hey, they dealt with the pressure of like first Canadians in a long time, like World Cup. They played Belgium, they played Croatia, Morocco, and like Morocco went to the World Cup semis. So
We
it's
had a
just
tough
like
group.
yeah, we looking
Admittedly, we have a
back
tough
at it, I
group.
think everyone in Canada's like, oh, okay, we can beat Morocco, and we're gonna like if we can get something out of Belgium and Croatia, it's different. And we
Yeah.
got lit up but
That
again,
that was a tough group, man. Like Belgium didn't get out of that group. And I know they were kind of nearing the end of their golden generation, but realistically, that group and this group are two completely different. Like you could make the case that Switzerland, the best team in this group, is as good as the worst team was in that group
like
in 2022.
I would take a win against Qatar. I would take a tie against Bosnia, and then if we tie Switzerland or even like that, I would again. I think
Yeah.
people the expectations you got to beat Bosnia, but I'll be honest with you, I'm taking a draw if we do, and I think the nerves we're gonna
Yes.
see early on. You also got to like I don't think people realize too like Bosnia did yes, it was penalties, but like Bosnia did beat Italy, so it's like their
And
confidence.
Wales.
Yeah,
Wales, there's no pushover. Like
so
they were a good team as well. Bosnia is a good, technically sound team. They're not athletic. They're not fast, but they have experienced guys and they have good technicians in the middle that will make Canada look silly if we let them. Like very quickly could, because we have all the pressure. So the minute that Bosnia shows that they're comfortable on the ball, we kind of we kind of lose control of that game, and that game could go anywhere. Right? Like Bosnia is not a bad team. I refuse to think that this is going to be
no,
an easy walkover game.
yeah,
I just know that these are the two games we need to take advantage of. Because if we tie Bosnia and beat Qatar, guess what? We're going to the next round. So it's like 98% chance we're going to the next. Like Qatar's not getting 4 points. And let's move on quickly to Qatar.
I'm
Um,
knocking on wood, man, because I swear the most Canada thing ever would be to lose to Qatar and
yes, it would be.
we beat Switzerland in something, and it would just be something ridiculous. But yeah,
Because going
um,
back to 2022, right? This Qatar team, and I hate saying this because I know that it could absolutely go back in my face. Because I remember last World Cup, I thought Costa Rica looked horrible, and for like 10 minutes that they had made it to the next round in a group with Germany, Spain, and Italy. So I completely understand how crazy these World Cups can get. Qatar is bad. Qatar is one of the worst teams at this World Cup. Like
I'm looking
they
at
have one creative engine in Akram Akif, sorry,
he
Afif. Pedro
is he
Miguel provides their calm defensive balancing engine room, but like they have one guy per who contributes out of that Asian qualifying. And really, my question is because I haven't seen them that often, how much have they really improved in 4 years? I don't know if it's enough to really
again?
make a case that they'd make it past the group
This is
stages in
their
this.
second World Cup.
Yep.
Yeah, and I guess I'm reading. Yeah, they became the first host nation ever to be eliminated in the group stage.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that was a little interesting fact. But again, and there's a probability. I mean, obviously there's three host nations this
Yeah,
time, so it's kind of like okay, what do But yeah, I don't. Everyone, you ask anyone, 99.9% of people are saying they're going to lose every single game. But I genuinely think like again, you never know. It's the World Cup, Qatar,
for sure.
and I think when do we play them?
We play
So
them second. That's the big one. So if we lose to Bosnia, then the pressure really heaps on to
then the
beat them
pressure is like really on.
because we need to beat them at that point. Because if we get a
Yeah.
point out of Qatar, that means we need to go and beat Switzerland. So it's not like here's the thing: if we emerge with anything less than 3 points out of the first two games, we immediately go into we need a result versus Switzerland, and I don't know if this team's ready for that step in that sort of game. When Switzerland probably need points in that game to top the group. Realistically, I think they would need points. So listen, I think Qatar's of one of the worst teams at this World Cup, genuinely. Um, I don't know unless they've made these incredible strides in the last 4 years, which I haven't heard about or seen. I just don't know how they can make it past this point. With that being said, this is one of the weakest groups in the tournament. This is one of the weakest groups in the tournament. No one look like the FIFA rankings. Canada's 30th, Qatar's 55th. Our top ranked team in this group is 19th in Switzerland out of a 12-team tournament, and then Bosnia is 65. So this I know I won't go off FIFA rankings for a lot of these, but
It's a weak group. It's a weak
it's a
group.
weak group, and this is a weaker Switzerland. Like Switzerland's known as this like very consistent, get to the knockout stages sort of team, never really push past the quarters, but they're always consistently good. They're structured, and they have enough good players that any team like Canada, Qatar, Bosnia are usually
Yeah,
outplayed over 90 minutes, and
because
it really relies whether they can grab a couple chances or not.
I think they went to round of 16 last time
Hmm.
in the last tournament. I'm pretty sure. But they had yeah, like you said, the best they've been is like the quarterfinals. I think
Yeah,
the last time was 1954.
yes, I think their goal has to be quarterfinal. Their goal has to be quarterfinal. They've had a lot of good teams. I think this is a relatively weaker team than they're probably their best in the last 6 to 8 years. They're like an older squad. They're like the perennial dark horses of any tournament. Like they
Yeah,
are just kind of there and able to win it, but they always kind of just meet expectation.
they
They have
just I mean like yeah, like Shaka, I would say obviously he's like the heartbeat of the team, like the most
heartbeat,
important
yeah.
heck of a season he's just had. So yeah, like and I think just a good player, and he's yeah he has a lot of experience. And again, like it's tough, right? Because you don't have like that one like winger. They don't like their best players aren't in like the front line. Like you have a Kanji, I think
They
as
still
well.
have Vargas. Do you remember
Yeah,
Vargas? They still have Vargas on the team. And I think he's in his
they have
30s, somewhere in the
Bolo
higher
from
30s. They have Breland
Morocco.
Bolo, who used to be like a wonder kid. He's 29.
So yeah, again,
Manuel Akanji,
yeah,
30s.
yeah,
So
he's good
they're an
experience
older
too.
team. They're
Yeah,
experienced, but they're an older team. I will say it's a miracle if they don't advance out of this group. It's a
yeah.
miracle if they don't advance out of this group, whether that's first, second, or third. If they don't advance, that would be the shock of the tournament for me personally. They are by far the best team in this group.
Over Spain or France, not making it out.
This group is horrible, horrible. Look at this group. It's not. It's one of the weaker groups I've ever seen in a World Cup, and maybe there's a couple in this tournament that could rival it. But if you told us that Canada's best team in the group would be Switzerland, then the next best team would be Bosnia, dude, it's ideal.
Yeah. Again, and I think you we're looking at if Italy does get past Bosnia, I think you're looking at this complete like we're looking at the group
Completely different.
completely differently. But yeah, I agree with you. It's got to be one of the weaker groups for
For
sure.
sure.
So
I think Switzerland is the favorite here. And going quickly into Bosnia because we haven't really talked about them too much. I think this is their second time in the World Cup. They made it in 2014. They have one win versus Iran. They gave Argentina a good game in that 2014 World Cup. I think they're capable of beating teams through like more stability and like a tenured core, but they're
yeah.
not explosive. For like I don't find
um,
them that explosive. They
no,
can beat
they
teams through consistency.
first World
Um,
Cup since
and they went
2014.
through a tough path. They went through a very tough path to get here to beat Wales and Italy, and to even finish second in their qualifying group is impressive for them. So I mean,
They got to be buzzing. It'll be interesting to see how they do. So, but yeah,
absolutely. Okay, so who and having Ed and Dzeko, I think is cool. I like seeing all the old guys kind of go for their last. And before actually, speaking of old guys, Guillermo Ochoa is still is still on Mexico, which is I can't believe that. Is this his sixth or his seventh
yeah,
World Cup?
he's retiring after this. This is the last one.
Good.
You
I
have to.
mean,
It's the home. It's your home one. You have to do. There's without a doubt. But I have so I think 95% of people are gonna have the same group, but I have Switzerland one. I have Canada second,
yeah,
just because we got to go for like we're from Canada, then Bosnia third, and then Qatar fourth.
I have the same.
Yeah,
I think I could have guessed that one from both of us.
yeah.
Basically because I think Canada and Bosnia is a bit of a coin flip, but I think you'd be crazy to put any money on Switzerland finishing outside of the out of the first spot or even the second spot.
Yeah.
So we have the same. I don't have Qatar getting a point. This could come back to bite me, but I mean,
Just not against us.
I
Just
just
tie
don't think they're very
Switzerland.
good.
I just hope they
I
tie
remember that
Switzerland.
World Cup 4 years ago. They were a bad team,
Yeah, they
and I
were.
don't know if they've made the strides enough to really warrant us sticking out a leg for them. Personally, they could go and get a result against Canada.
Yeah.
That wouldn't change my opinion of them. That's just Canada playing down to an opponent if it were to happen. But let's get into a much more interesting Group C because
Gotcha.
this one's heavy.
This is
I mean, let's start with Brazil. I mean, so FIFA ranked, they're sixth. Carlo Ancelotti takes over this team. First time he's ever taken over this team. Obviously, the Neymar story has been a little bit distracting for them, but I think it's
you have to
distracting.
take them.
I think
You
it's
have to
distracting
take
because
them.
we don't have much to talk about for them.
I'll be honest with you. I think Brazil are dangerous, but I'm not entirely convinced.
No,
Entirely. I just don't feel like there's I don't know. It's hard, man. Again, like you look at the players they have, and it's just. But
it's
again,
kind of underwhelming for a
yeah,
Brazilian side.
they haven't. I mean, Joao Pedro not making it just seems insane to me. I that was like I
Richarlison
know
didn't make it. Joao Pedro didn't make it. They brought Thiago.
Richarlison. I'm like, yeah. I mean, you have like,
He's done it before though. Like he had a great 2022
but
World Cup.
he is yeah. He's again. You look at like, yeah, great World Cup, but then like you bring Endrick, but you don't bring Joao Pedro. Endrick didn't play for the first half of this season.
Yeah,
Joao,
they're weird, right? They're built on these like youngsters who are really good. I'm excited to see what Endrick looks like. And there's another kid, I think his name is Ederson. He's a center defensive mid that I'm excited to see how he plays. But like my key players for this team are Vinny, Bruno Guimaraes, Gabriel, Cunha. I think those are probably the best players. I think Casemiro's been
yeah,
playing well too, so he'll probably play. Maybe Bruno doesn't even start based on that, but I don't know. Like I think Carlo does a really good job of platforming attacking players and letting them be very individualized, which fits well with Brazil. And despite all that I'm saying, I'm not feeling Brazil this World Cup. I have their goal to win because they're Brazil, but their realistic goal should be the semifinal.
yeah. I think it's got to be the semis again. I don't.
They
I'm with you in this.
struggled in qualifying.
But the thing too, though, I think this is like the first time in a while they've really had like a manager that's like really stood out. I don't know if
Yes,
that makes sense, but like,
no, it's true.
and again, he's worked with Vinny. I mean, you have Casemiro's coming off a good season too, so it's just like so many of these tournaments and too. It's just like you need guys who can win you games, and they have that, but also in the sense of like they don't like it just doesn't feel like they have the depth that they've had before. I
No,
don't,
and that doesn't
and
mean they
like
can't do anything here, but
again, like we could be totally wrong, but again, like you lose like Brazil losing what in 2022 quarterfinals to Croatia and pens, like that. Just like
that
it,
really kind of signed off what those teams looked like because that
it's
was a
just
really good team and they
the
conceded a bad goal.
expectation. I'm with you with like Brazil. It's got to be like you got to get to the semis. I think just with the fire, like they just along the firepower they have,
Yeah,
and again, like Marquinhos is coming off what is it? Just
a second a second
UCL.
Champions League in
But
two
again,
years.
Thiago Silva's not there, so I think that's
No,
interesting.
they have an interesting spine, I'd say. And that's
But
why I think Carlo actually fits quite well. So, despite what I'm saying, I get that this is a really good fit for Carlo in Brazil. I think it's really interesting. With that being said, I don't love what the team looks like. I don't love what the squad looks like. I think you'd struggle to actually pinpoint a lot of these guys. I mean, maybe Rodrigo is a good player as well that could come in and have some key plays here and there. And this is Brazil, right? They
I
can
don't.
always
Is
turn it on.
Rodrigo? Rodrigo's not even here because he's injured, right?
Is he injured?
I don't think Rodrigo's at this World Cup. I'm pretty sure he's still injured.
That would be a massive blow as well. My God. And then
Yeah,
of course you have Neymar, and I don't know if anyone knows what Neymar is going to look like if he does play.
he's not going to be fit. I feel bad in the sense of I think it's one of those things, and a little bit Ancelotti probably brought him because like it's probably his last one. I think
Yeah,
you also have. I think he's team. I don't know if he's team captain, but he's like up there in the experience. Again, I I think there's also the sense of like Ancelotti didn't want all the press and shit around, excuse my language, but like all
yeah,
the stuff that comes with
you're
not
right.
bringing, you have to pretty much pick and choose and weigh out, okay, I bring Neymar, I can deal with like the media, everyone and all that, but it's like you don't bring him, like is that getting into like the team now or the team
Hmm.
being like how are you not bringing? Because I think a lot of it too, like we've talked about like, these youngsters, like they idolize him, right? So
Hmm.
yes, he may not be at the top of his form, and like I think the injury not in like a bad way or towards him or anything. It's a little bit of a blessing in disguise, I think, to Ancelotti in Brazil, just a little bit in the sense, okay, now I don't have the pressure to play him.
Yeah,
And again,
absolutely.
any team is going to say yes to having Neymar come off the bench. I still think he's one of the like top players that we've seen, like especially for us, like growing up, especially. And again, if he can get fit second, third game, you're not complaining about having Neymar.
No,
And I just think how he's been at World Cups and all of that, and yeah, he but yeah, I don't know if that makes any sense.
no, it does. I think
It's
I think a
weird.
different manager doesn't take Neymar. I think Carlo works so well with egos. Like he's managed some of the biggest clubs on the planet.
Yeah, so
And now he moves to Brazil, and I think a guy like Neymar can talk to Carlo properly. I think Carlo works great with guys with at that level where they
yeah,
supersede the sport and they become like this worldwide entity. He's able to work with those guys really well, which is why I think it's a great fit. I just don't love. I mean, they lost to Bolivia in qualifying. This is not
yeah.
the same team, right? And they could go on a bit of a run, and I think in my predictions I have them going somewhat far, but I don't.
But
That doesn't mean
genuinely
I
though,
believe in
like
them. I think that's just how the bracket played out.
if you do look at it, like they have, I would say they have a chance of winning just solely off like you got Vinicius Junior, you got Rafinha, like it's just like
It's a
they're
good team. It's a
they're
good team.
there.
It's a good Brazil team. It's not a great
They're
Brazil
there,
team.
and I'm with you. I don't think there's much else to
Yeah,
again. Is it weird to say Brazil or a dark horse? It's like I don't. Yeah, you can't.
it's
I,
weird, but you could kind of say it because they're not in the top. They're not in my top five teams to win it. If I had to pick five teams, I was thinking about that. I have five teams that I think are most likely to win. Brazil's not in it for me. I think Portugal, I think Spain, I think Argentina, I think England, and I think Germany. I don't have Brazil in that. Oh, sorry, and I'm leaving out France. So when you're actually boiling it down, I don't think Brazil's in the top five teams to win this tournament. Personally,
I don't know.
it depends on path, but that's my like personally. I think Portugal has more talent. I think Spain has more talent. I think Argentina with Messi
Portugal.
has much more talent. I think you look
I,
at France; they have way deeper talent, and I think you could
I'm
argue
not even
Germany is better
convinced.
as well.
I'm not even convinced by the French, but I guess we'll see.
That's fair.
All right. I guess we go into Morocco.
I
Yeah.
mean, they're running mates. So I thought it was interesting that Reguagui, I don't even know how to pronounce his name. His first name is Walid. He stepped down after AFCON, citing a lot of criticism about his management style, and he was the guy who took them to the semifinals 4 years ago. So I think it's interesting that there's been this refresh. so close to the tournament. That being said, my goal for them is semifinal. I mean, this is a very talented African team. I know it's a tough group, but once you make the semifinal, I think the next goal would probably be to make the final. I don't think they're that deep as a team, but they work damn well. They won the Arab Cup. They lost AFCON, then they got gifted AFCON. I think they lost that one. But again, they're making it deep to all these tournaments. They work really well as a team. I really like Brahim Diaz, Achraf Hakimi, and Aziri. Um, Ziyech just I don't know if Ziyech made this squad, but I've always really liked Ziyech. And I like the way I know it's a new manager. I just like them. I think they're a great team.
I think you hit the nail on the coffin. I don't have any.
You have nothing.
Yeah, I'm with you on the sense on I don't. I think for me, quarterfinals should be kind of like an
Quarterfinal
expect.
is realistic, yeah.
I think would be realistic. I think again like they were the dark horse of the last World Cup. I think nobody expect again. I thought we
Yeah.
were going to beat them, but then like we see how they play and all of that, and again they're in the AFCON final with theirs. So it's
But I think
I'm
they've built
excited.
from that
They play good
personally.
footy
Yeah.
too. They play good
Yes,
footy
they
and
do.
like they're fast. And I think again, like back onto like my weather rant, but like I think like they're gonna have an advantage again. I think in the sense a lot of some of these other teams are gonna like, and I think they'll thrive. And again, Hakimi's been dealing with an injury, so like yes, and he just won the Champions League as well. But obviously, I think having a bit of rest, it's like weird. It's like in the sense of like you kind of get injured closer to like a World Cup, but
Yeah.
then you come back a few weeks before. It's like you get that kind of like yes, like they're still training and all that, but like their body's recovering differently. So I'm in the sense of again Brahim Diaz. I think he's kind of got to come in and have like point to prove now.
Hmm.
I think he's one of those guys this year. He was kind of on like he didn't really get into like he wasn't starting games for Madrid, but
No.
he never really has consistently. So again, but I'm with you on like yeah, I'm excited to be watching them again.
I think the whole Panenka situation in the final also overshadowed how good of a player he is. I think he's a very quality player.
Yeah,
Um, I think along with Senegal, like the current Senegal team, they are one of the greatest African outfits of all time. They
yeah.
have to be there, and based on the fact that last World Cup they had a little bit of a younger team. This is kind of their, let's go for it. Why not go for it? I think their goal has to be semifinal. Once you make the semifinal, I just think this could open up for them and maybe they could really make it to a stage that we again would be shocked by again, personally. But I think
I
they have a really, really good team. I think they have really good a double pivot structure in midfield and pressing high up the pitch that actually works well, and they have a good defense. I
I
think they're
think
as well suited as any team. They're eighth in the FIFA rankings.
I'm calling it right now. They're gonna tie Brazil 2-2 in the group
You
stage.
think so? Yeah.
It's gonna be
I
2-2.
Well, let's move. This could become one of the tougher groups of the tournament because now if we go down like Scotland's a good team, man.
Yeah, but Billy Gilmore being out is a big loss
It
because that
is.
that's your whole engine.
It is. Like I had to take him out of the key players. My key players for Scotland are, of course, McTominay, Robertson. I think Che Adams is someone they're going to have to rely on to
McGinn.
score,
I think
and McGinn was my fourth in there. As I don't know if he's a captain or I think he's co-captain because Robertson would be the captain. But they have a lot of leaders in there, and they've been building this team with the same manager for a long time. That doesn't mean I think they're going to do X, Y, and Z against Morocco and Brazil, but they're a tough team for everyone. Whoever's going to face them is going to be a tough team. And Steve Clark, I don't think he's the greatest manager in the world, but he's been with them. There's
they're
something to be said about like this elongated time you have with the same set of players. Robertson's been there for a while. McGinn has. McTominay has. Shea Adams to a certain extent has. So it's
Yeah, like they play a 4-3-3. I'm pretty sure. So I think it's you're gonna kind of keep. I
yeah.
think you keep McTominay kind of in that attacking, like the attacking role or whatever.
Hmm.
The center attacking mid, and again Robertson's gonna be playing left back, and I think they're a very much team though that rely on like crossing and
Yeah.
like set
Yeah.
pieces. Defensively, I'll be honest, I don't know a lot of like who they're gonna kind of. Obviously, Robertson's there, but I think like that's what's gonna worry me just a little bit with them, and I think again, but then they play like these teams like they play Brazil and like they're just gonna like they're gonna be extremely physical. Like
Yeah.
Scotland and Haiti will both be extremely physical. I'm not saying Brazil won't, but I think that's where like they're gonna try and lead into it. And
Hmm.
again, like a lot of these teams, like I always forget, like Scotland, like they run a lot too. Like, they run a
Yeah.
lot, and I think
Workhorses.
Haiti and Scotland will both go into the Brazil and Morocco games pretty much expecting like they won't have the ball as much. In my opinion,
And
at
they'll be
least,
okay with that,
and they'll be okay
right?
with that. But
Yeah.
I just think they worry me in that in like that sense. But yeah,
I think they're going to be a really fun team to watch. My goal for them is obviously just the knockouts because of and it's crazy, right? Because my Canadian goal was round of 16. Canada is not a better team than Scotland, but the group is
I
such
know.
that with Haiti's performances recently, I have to think that Haiti's a good team now. They've gone out, they beat another World Cup team. I know New Zealand's not a great team. They beat them 4-0. That's not nothing.
No, I know. Again, and like that's the thing. All these teams are gonna get up for it too, right? Like you're there. This is Haiti's first time back in the World Cup in 52 years. So
Yeah,
it's
it's a
like
long
they
time.
and like they have a lot of pride from where they come from. Obviously, like that country's been through a lot. So I think
Hmm.
it's also just like they're on like the world stage now, and it's that there's gonna be no easy games in this group.
No.
Like every single game is I'm with you, and like it's crazy like how weak some of the groups are, and like how strong some of the groups are.
And there's another group in here. We're gonna get to it where I think it's the only group that can rival this one. But Haiti super impressed me. It doesn't mean I think they're gonna go through. Like my goal for Haiti is to win a game, like win a game or get a result. Because they look at the group. I mean, Scotland's
Yeah.
tough, and that's the easiest competition they'll face. They have an African team of all time in Morocco, and then you have Brazil. Maybe a weaker Brazil, but you have Brazil in there as well. So I mean, their FIFA ranks 83. I think it's
I
a
didn't
real
even
shock that they got in, but
I didn't even know they beat New Zealand 4-0. I
they
didn't
beat
even
New
see
Zealand
it.
4-0.
I've
They
been trying
they washed them last week.
again, and then you can go on to the sense of like, okay, just like Haiti finished squeezing into that third place spot somehow in Scotland, but then again, like you just don't know. You
I
don't
mean,
know.
Scotland and Haiti's most important fixture is
It's
against each
against
other, and
yeah,
they need to win it because nothing. They could play great against Brazil and Morocco and come back with nothing, right?
yeah, and like I think Scotland and Haiti are both taking a tie against Brazil or Morocco. You ask them right now, they're saying
Oh,
that yeah.
absolutely, because they
So
they know that they need the result against each other because it's going to be like they could beat them on any given day. Anything can happen in football, but they need the result versus each other to
oh
even
yeah,
think about the knockouts. So I think this is one of the most interesting groups. Why don't we get into our predictions on this one? I have a shock. I have a shock in this one,
all right. Let's hear yours first, and then
and I
we'll.
feel bad because I have put Haiti on 0 points, but that's just because I made this kind of before the New Zealand game, and I didn't know how good they would look. But again, even after seeing that, I don't know if I can pick them over any certain teams. I put Scotland in third. I put Brazil in second, and I put Morocco first.
I have the exact same.
Because I think Morocco can get a result versus Brazil, and I don't think Brazil's the team to go out and completely outscore everyone.
Yeah. I think
I think
Morocco is
Morocco
just
could
too
go out
good.
and kill Haiti personally.
I don't think Morocco are scared of Brazil. I don't.
I
They're
don't think
gonna
Morocco
like
is scared of anyone. That's the
no.
scary thing.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And
That's
again,
interesting that we
it
both
could
went
go it
Morocco.
could
I
go
like
any way though.
Morocco a lot.
Imagine it's like Morocco, Haiti, Brazil, Scotland, or like
I know.
you just don't
I
know.
think anything could happen in this group. I think this is just sort of the World Cup always has shocks. It never has all these top teams just finishing first and like, oh, let's go off to the knockouts. Like something happens. Every
Yeah, you
World Cup,
gotta.
there's always a story with a team. You're like, how the hell did they get here? So I think Scotland. I think I do have Scotland going through in the third place seed here.
I picked them as well.
So I think it'll be interesting. I hope Scotland make it through. I think it'll be super interesting to have them in a knockout format. I think that'd be great for the tournament as a whole. And again, I know I have Haiti finishing on 0 points. I know my goal for them is to win a game, but they've seriously impressed me with their last couple of games. So they could be a shock of this World Cup. Who knows? Who knows?
All right,
Let's move on to Group D.
our lovely neighbors.
Our lovely neighbors. Man, I mean,
I
they
I'm
have a
gonna be
lot of expectation going on.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm just like how some of them like carry themselves. I don't know. Like I don't look into it too much, and I think there's a lot of like the older guys like from the US team really have been butting heads with like the newer ones. Obviously with Pulisic, there's been a lot of like media outlet and just how he didn't go to the international stuff and like his
Yeah.
body and all of that. Like Donovan or is it yeah. Landon Donovan. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
He's been very vocal. But again, I think Pochettino, one of those managers, this seemed like a weird selection for like or a weird choice for him. I'll be honest with you. I feel like he may have been in the higher caliber for like a higher like a better team.
Yeah, I do feel
Uh,
like he had been shipped around a lot of bigger teams and not succeeded as much as they wished he would. So I kind of felt
because
like at the time it was an interesting step down. I wasn't sure if it was the right step down, but it is a big job to take over the U.S. men's
like
national team.
if you think about it, PSG he did deal with like Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi. So
For
like
sure, but when you don't win the league with PSG, questions inevitably start getting.
yeah, but again, like you have, I think Weston McKennie's been playing at Juventus again because I know his time there's been a little, it's been rocky recent or like in the last few years. I know there was times like no,
Yeah,
he's out of the squad and then he earned his way back in.
honestly, Juve's a
Pulisic,
weird one. I feel
yeah,
weird judging anyone not Juve, even
yeah.
Jonathan David. They're just a weird team to me.
Pulisic is at AC Milan again. Like I don't, AC Milan have just kind of been like they're there in Italy competing, but I just feel like Inter Milan's been a step ahead for like the last couple of years for sure. And then
Yeah,
Robinson, I think left back, that's like a big one.
yeah.
Uh,
I think their big test is, are they going to be able to beat one of the big boys? Because that's always what it boils down to. I think they're good at, like, my goal for them is the quarterfinal. I mean, they're the host, right? Their
yeah,
expectations never been higher, but I don't think that's just solely down to their squad. I think it's like this waiting, like, when is the U.S. going to be able to make it deep into a World Cup? They've made the round of 16. They didn't perform well at the Copa America when they got invited. They went to the quarterfinal in '02. I think that's kind of why I put the goal there, because if their expectations are that high, they probably should be able to match it. But I mean, they beat Senegal in the lead up. That's big, but they've lost heavily to Portugal and Belgium, which is my big thing. Like, they need to be able to beat one of the big boys if they're willing to get to
they're
this
not there
quarterfinal
again.
stage.
Again, I think this is in a sense of I don't know if Canada and the US I find are both similar in ways in the sense we have certain high caliber players that are like aren't like world superstars. Take
Yeah,
out like Alfonso Davies for that, but we have guys who are in Europe, and then it's a lot of like MLS guys. So I think there's just that mix of like you have certain guys who are like at a higher level, but like they're not all like at the highest level, you
yeah,
know. So
I agree with you.
it's and again like Canada and the US, I am a strong believer, and you play 10 times, it's maybe Canada wins six, US wins four, maybe it's five. There's some draw. Like
Yeah,
again, I think
I'd
we're
say it's
very not to
50-50.
go back into it, but again, like I just think US have been very. I think it's like it felt like it's just gone down a little. I mean, like if we saw how they did at some of the other World Cups, like they wouldn't get like they were in knockout stages, were they not? I'm trying to
For
think.
sure, they've just never really pushed on to
Yeah,
maybe
and
what US American expectations are, whether that's just or unjust.
they
American
should be.
expectations is like excellence,
Yeah, like
and they
and
haven't gotten there with
they
this.
should be like at every World Cup, but like 2018 they weren't even there. So it's
Yeah,
kind of
that
like
was a disappointment. But again, they've hired some really really shaky managers. I
yeah,
I hated Berhalter. I thought Berhalter was a horrible coach. So to get Pochettino in here, that's why my expectation is a little higher. It's the same thing with Canada. They may look shaky, but just like we were saying, this is the best team Canada's ever fielded. This is also the best manager they've ever had, in my opinion, and Jesse Marsh.
oh yeah.
So like they're both led by good managers, bridging maybe on great managers. I think Pochettino has a bit better CV than Marsh, obviously. But again, like Canada, this is also a pretty weak group. I wouldn't say it's pretty close to
I
as weak
mean,
as Canada's group.
I'm yeah, I don't know. It's tough.
Like I
Like
have to, do you want like, with Turkey?
Turkey, yeah, let's get into Turkey now. Again, like I think they have some good players. Like Arda Güler, Real Madrid. Like he's had a
Yeah,
good year.
he
So
could have a huge World Cup. I think he could
I'm
explode.
I'm excited to see. I watched one of their games because I think they had to win to get in, did they not? I think they did. I don't
Yeah, they did.
I
This spot
watched
was up for grabs.
I forget who it was, but I watched them like I don't recognize all their players, I'll be honest with you, but like
Mm,
they looked good. And again, I
mm,
think Turkey will be a team that will be extremely fearless. I
mm.
don't like this group, I think like yeah, I'm it's on the weaker end. I don't think it's here like as weak as Canada's group, but again, it's there isn't like a standout powerhouse here at
But I
all.
will I will say, like, looking down the list, Paraguay is one of the weaker South American teams that's made it into this tournament. The U.S. is very fortunate that that's the South American team they got. It could have been Argentina or Brazil, and they got Paraguay. It could have been Ecuador or Colombia, but they got Paraguay. I think Paraguay is the weakest out of the bunch, personally. And then you look
Yeah,
down and Australia. Australia is not the strongest version of Australia they've ever had. Their FIFA ranking may be 27, but I think that's highly inflated with them being in the Asian qualifying. Like this is not their golden generation. The three
no,
players that I have in my key players for Australia are Jackson Irvine, Cameron Burgess, and Matt Ryan.
yeah,
That's Brighton's Matt Ryan from like years ago.
yeah. It's again like round of 16 in the 2022 World Cup, so it's like you never know. I'm gonna be I don't know, like this is like a hard group to pick, like a hard group to like in
Yeah.
the sense of like I think Paraguay can compete with Australia, but I'm also like Australia is like gonna be there. I think in the sense of
Yeah.
I it's hard.
A big thing as well is like the big key player that I pointed out for Paraguay was Julio Enciso, the guy who played for Brighton, Chelsea, and now is at Strasbourg. He went off injured last night,
Yeah.
crying.
So
So
what?
they'd probably have to rely on Almiron for their attacking prowess. And
Or
not that I don't like Almiron, but I don't know
oh
if you can rely on Mickey Almiron for like they have Antonio Sanabria, guys we've heard before. Gustavo Gomez is their captain at the back. They're compact. They're hard to break down. That's kind of how they got into the tournament through qualifying. But in my notes I wrote
yeah.
Enciso crucial to their creativity, and if Enciso doesn't play, where does that creativity come from for them? I don't know.
Almiron's older too, right? So I think a big part of
Yeah,
his game, why he was successful in the Prem, like with Nuka, is just his pace. Like, and I think we saw also the adjustment period it took for him. It took him a little while. I mean, anyone jumping from the MLS to the Premier
yeah.
League have their adjustment time. But yeah, I'm with you on that sense. And yeah, I don't I don't know.
Like outside of a drubbing to Spain, Turkey were nearly flawless in their qualifying. And because they're in Spain's group, they had to finish second, obviously. They lost 6-0 to Spain at the beginning of it. But then they went on to tie Spain and have been going on to get some great results. They may be a tad shaky at the back, but they got into this tournament winning 1-0, 1-0. So
Yeah,
I don't know. So here's my PTSD with it, right? In 2020, I thought Turkey was going to be a dark horse for the Euros. They they scored one, conceded nine, didn't get a point. They got thrown out in the group stage. This is a different Turkey team. I actually really like Turkey. I think Turkey could win this group. Personally, it's a
I
weak group.
I was gonna say I don't know if you want. I have
Yeah,
my
go
who
for it.
so I have Turkey winning the group.
Mhm.
I have the Australia second, United States third, and Paraguay out.
Whoa, you have USA third.
I have
That's
USA third.
wow, at host. I mean, I like the shout. They've been kind of shaky, right? So, I mean, that's it. I have Turkey, US. I have Paraguay third, and I have Australia in fourth.
I think it's also just like I think the Canadian US rivalry just allows me to
That's
put them
fair.
third
That's
with
fair.
confidence. And again, that's no bash to any Americans. But
I've been quite generous and lenient with all the host countries. I've put all the host countries in second in their groups, despite the fact I don't think any of them are playing at their strongest. But I
I
think when
think
you're the hosts, it's a big thing.
I think the U.S. are going to have a tough time. I genuinely do, and I think Paraguay. I think yes, the U.S. may be better on paper or are than Australia and Paraguay, but I
Mhm.
just think there's a lot more
It's a level of
chemistry,
passion.
and I think Australia, in my opinion, I don't know. I just think experience and belief, and I'm
That's fair. I mean, we're going to have differences on these groups. We've had a lot of the similar ones, including the Morocco pick. I like that. And Australia made it to the knockout rounds last time out. I just don't think this is the same team that they're playing with.
I think they
And
go to round of 32. I think Australia goes to
you think
round of
they get knocked
32.
out immediately? Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fair.
and it's
I mean, my goal for them, I think, it's knockouts. Actually,
and
looking down the list, USA has quarterfinal, Turkey round of 16, and then for Paraguay and Australia, I have reached the knockouts because this is a weak group. This is another weak group. I don't think it's as weak as Canada's per se, but you get Julio and Cisa going out. They're like Paraguay's creative piece, and now you're looking at a South American team that's kind of flawed. So, I mean, this
I
is a
know
tough one to pick. I think anything could happen here, but I really like Turkey. If I had to pick one, I'd pick Turkey.
Turkey, yeah, for sure.
I think we
I think
both
they
agree
win
on
the group.
that. Okay, let's move on to Group E.
Let's start with Curacao. I'm interested to
You're
hear
gonna start
your
with Curacao? Yeah?
yeah, Curacao.
I have no idea how to pronounce it. It could be Curacao, it could be Curacao.
My parents took me to Curacao when I was younger. I'm 99% sure it's Curacao, and if I'm wrong,
Oh,
I'm gonna look
nice.
like an idiot.
No, that's
But
fine. I had no idea.
I'm standing on business. But yeah, no. So
I
again,
think it's interesting. So you start with this one. You wanted to lead off with Curacao, or Curacao?
My thing with Curacao is just like it's their first World Cup ever, so like I'm extremely. You never know with these teams how they're gonna come in and do. And I
Hmm.
remember like watching like the video like when they qualified and like again like they're a tiny Caribbean island. Like
Yeah.
it's just like remarkable, I think, and that's why like I love about this new format is the opportunity. And I think you're gonna see some youngsters who we don't know about right now that we're gonna like know about. And again, yes, they have a tough group in my opinion.
Hmm.
Um, but again, like I'll be honest, I don't know any of their. I've seen Rangelo Djanga, I'm seeing is their all-time leading scorer. I guess
Hmm.
a guy named Locadia is their striker who's seems to be the most dangerous. Uh,
And they're the Bacuna brothers. I know you
and
remember the Bacuna brothers, Leandro and Janino Bacuna.
and I'm gonna be honest with you, I think my kind of goal for them is like just get 1 point. I think even
Yeah.
a draw, pull out some remarkable result, and if it's a draw, if it's you know what, it's a win maybe.
Yeah.
You don't know, but again, I think that's where like these types of teams become so dangerous because they have no expectations. They know no one believes in them and besides themselves, and that like they don't. But I again, the sense of pride they're going in,
Yeah.
those guys are going to be hungry, and you
And
know they're going to
yeah.
be they are going to be running every minute of those games. So
They also have, if you remember Tahith Chong, I think he plays for one of the lesser England teams, maybe higher up the championship, lower down the Premier League, maybe Burnley. He was with United for a period of time. He's a United youngster.
is he
He's
from?
on that. I think he's from Curacao.
I think he's.
I may have mixed up exactly where he's from. Is he African or is he from Curacao? I may be mixing up which one this
I'm gonna tell you.
Tahith
I got it.
Chong. No, he's Curacao. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, so I was right about that. I was confused. It may have been Cape. I thought maybe I confused him with Cape Verde because their flags are quite similar.
Oh, Sheffield United.
Okay, so he is. Yeah, he's
No, yeah,
upper.
you're right. It is Curacao. That's
So that's an interesting bit of
tough
a
year
winger
though.
that could actually make something happen. I think the Bacuna brothers are interesting. My goal for them is win a game, similar to yours, maybe a
Yeah,
little bit
hopefully I
higher.
win a game.
But
Chung,
it's a tougher group for them to get drawn into, and I
I mean,
think they
yeah,
have to play out of their skin to advance to the knockouts.
I don't
That's
think
my
they will.
opinion. They have to
You know
play
what?
out of
They're
their
gonna
skin.
get the experience here, but yeah, I mean, if you look like leading into like what, like I think for me, like Ecuador has some quality players. Like you
For
got,
sure.
without a doubt, you got Moises Caicedo who's there, and Capi at Bayer Leverkusen, an elite defender, elite defender in my
And
opinion.
and a little bit older, but Enter Valencia has a lot of experience scoring at World Cups. You were going to say that, yeah? That's captain right there.
Shout out my boy, man. I've
Yeah.
seen him live so many times that yeah, I
Oh
mean,
yeah, he was with West Ham. I forgot.
yeah, no, and he's scored some goals, and again, like they beat Qatar in 2022.
Hey, he was the first goal scorer in the tournament, wasn't he?
Yeah, again, I think the best performance is round of 16 in 2006.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm
You like them in this one, yeah? You like him?
okay.
Moises Caicedo is a huge piece
Yeah,
for
he's
them
a
to
huge
have.
piece. The only thing I was gonna say where I've kind of changed it. I mean, we haven't gone into Ivory Coast yet, but obviously, like I just watched Ivory Coast and France, and Ivory
Mhm.
Coast did come back against France.
There's gonna be some
So
bias there, yeah,
it's there's a bit of bias going in, and I think obviously anyone beating France. I mean, yes, it's a free friendly game, but you ask anyone, you beat France, you're happy, man. Like you're not, and like France,
who
they
cares if it's
play.
a friendly? This is a
Yeah,
tune-up
like
game.
so I'm on the on yeah, Ecuador, I don't know if they have enough depth to really do anything in this tournament. I think for
Hmm.
me, in my opinion, their goal should just be run, get out of the group and that
For sure. I mean, and when you have Curacao in the group, like, I mean, you could pick up 3 points and basically get in if you end up beating them by 2 or 3 goals. I think it's interesting. One more note because I forgot to mention it. I don't know if you know who Dick Advocat is, but that's the Curacao manager. He's managed. He's 78 years old. He's managed Netherlands, Belgium, Korea, Russia, PSV, and Rangers for a long period of time in the 90s. Like he is a kind of a legend, one of those legendary figures. I find it very interesting that he's with Curacao. Um, I just think it's really interesting. It would be a romantic story if they ended up somehow doing something at this World Cup. But again, like looking at Ecuador, they could lose that. Like Ecuador could get in just by beating them. And
yeah, it's
let's move to Ivory Coast because I like this team. I like this team a lot. I mean, Emerse Faye
small.
is their coach. They have like Frank Kessié, captain Simon Adingra from Brighton, Sebastian Haller,
Okay,
and I really like Jan Diamande from RB Leipzig. I think he could be one of the breakout players of the tournament if Ivory Coast plays up to their potential. My goal for them is the knockouts,
They've
but
never
I think
been.
they could overperform it.
They've never been in the group stage, or out of. They've never made it out of
Out
the
of the
group.
group stage, no, they've never been. And I think this is they
This is the tournament to do it. I think again. I think Ivory Coast Ecuador will be a tough game. I think that could
yeah.
really go either way. But I'm with you on it. I think they get out of the group for sure. And I think
If
yeah,
I
with some of
yeah.
the players they have. I'm trying to think. Who is it too? Ahmad from Man United.
They have Ama Diallo,
Yeah,
yes.
Ahmad. Yeah, sorry.
And they have so
Yeah,
many legends of that old team that we remember, like Drogba and Gervinho, right? Like this was a really good team back in the day, and I
in
think they're
Ivory
really
Coast,
picking it back up.
watching them play France, like they play fast, like extremely fast.
Fast, exciting. I think it's gonna suit guys like Adingra, Diamande, Amad Diallo. I think it's gonna suit all those wingers. I think they could be one of the more interesting teams of the tournament. I think Ecuador, it's really interesting. Like you could pick Ecuador or Ivory Coast to have like the surprise run. I'm gonna pick Ivory Coast, but I think Ecuador is
Yeah,
quite good too.
I'm with you on that. So
And I think watch Jan Diamande. I think that could be one of the more interesting youth prospects that we're gonna watch at
oh
this
yeah.
World Cup. I think he has bags of talent, so it'll be interesting to watch him. And let's move on to Germany because I think our pick for this group may be similar. I'm not sure. It sounds like it could be
But
similar, but I think
I,
Germany's goal this World Cup is to win.
yeah, and I think we don't need to go until like, we know the lineup that the Germans have, and we
Yeah,
know the
incredible team.
expectations are there. Young guys who are coming in as well, and I think yeah, four-time World Cup champs. They're there every single tournament, and I think recent performances though have been like obviously like I'm saying results in World like
Hmm.
obviously they won it and stuff. And what was it? Was it 24? When did they win it?
2014.
Yeah, 20. Was
They
it
won in
2014?
2014. Yeah, against
Yeah.
Argentina. Um, I
So
just think they have a great manager in Nagelsmann.
yeah,
They
and
struggled early on in qualifying, but their form has just gone up since because they lost to
like
Slovakia early on in the qualifying, and then they just started going like that, and I think they look really good.
and
Um,
I think they're one of the underappreciated giants going into this tournament. Like I would take
which
Germany
is
over Brazil.
yes,
In my opinion at least. Again, a lot of people are gonna go off how they've been how they've done like
hmm
with their reputation. But yeah, again, so going into it, I can tell you, I have Germany winning the group. I have
hmm
Ivory Coast finishing second, and then I got Ecuador third and Curacao finishing fourth. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope Curacao can do something. But for
I
me,
have the same. I have the exact same. I kind of figured how we were talking about the groups that we had the same.
and I
I
think
have Ecuador advancing in that third spot because I think they're too good
I
to
think
not advance.
I do too. And I think again, like that group's going to be the same Germany at the top, Curacao, and then people are just going to pretty much rotate between Ecuador and
I think that's the big game, right?
Ivory
Like
Coast.
Ivory Coast and Ecuador is going to be the massive game there to decide who gets through. You never like I personally I think sometimes when the expectation gets lowered for a giant, you should watch out for them. Like they're going to want to put Qatar in the rear view mirror for not making it past the groups in
Yeah,
the group
and
with
like
Spain, Japan, and Costa Rica. So
Neuer's back too. So I think that's
Norris
again, but
back.
like you kind of got rid of some of the older like I think Muller's out now. Like Cruz is out now, so it's like you're
Mm.
gonna have like we're really gonna get to see. And again, like Musiala's really come into like his like himself, and obviously bad injury to start the year, so I think he'll be a little bit more rested, and he's kind of picked it up
Mhm.
near the end. And like again, we saw old spurts of it during that Real Madrid tie for
And
sure. So
and they have
I'm excited.
leaders. And they have
I'm
leaders,
excited.
right?
Yeah, and they
They have
got
leaders. They have Rudiger at the back. I think they have a
Tom.
great back line. They have Taw. They then you look at Wirtz, not his best club season, but whenever he plays for Germany, he plays stellar. They actually know how to use him.
Yeah, and
And
like
Wirtz could be another one that just has a phenomenal tournament.
you got
Um,
Kimmich as well, who's like
Kimmich, who's been there, done that. He's been up through the youth system now to like an older 20s sort of player. That's going to be a leader in that dressing room as well, whether he's playing in the middle of the park or right back. I like the makeup of the team. I
yeah,
think they look really good. So yeah, those are our picks. I think we had the exact same
yeah.
for the picks.
I'm
That makes a
I'm
lot of sense.
I'm with you on that. So, all right, Group F.
I'm gonna say this right now. This is going to be my harshest take in terms of the entire bracket. This is gonna be my shock pick. Now, I don't have them going out, but let me start off by saying I think this could be the most underwhelming the Dutch do at a World Cup tournament of all time. personally. They have the prospect of not getting out of this group, in my opinion. And
Yeah,
the reason I say that is I don't like the manager in Ronald Koeman. I think Van Dijk's played every single minute of the club season, could be a little fatigued. I don't think Gakpo's had a good year. I don't think Gravenberch has had a good year. You look down up and down the team, I don't think they have enough exciting talent to really warrant a
you got a
deep
Real
run.
Madrid, you got a Real Madrid fullback now though.
Still, I know Dumfries is good. I don't trust Ronald Koeman at all. I don't know why they keep going with the merry-go-round that they keep going with these managers. And I think a little bit of that boiled luck that they got in Qatar, because I think they got very fortunate to even get out of the group in Group A
I
last
don't know.
tournament.
I don't know how they took Argentina to penalty shootout.
They played horrible all game. They played horrible. They grabbed a lucky goal and then they had a great set piece routine. But there's this bluntness and there's this arrogance to the Dutch that they haven't figured out. I don't think they have this figured out. I don't know if
I'm
they have guys who can score goals. If Cody Gakpo's not firing in all cylinders, which he's not right now, then you have to rely on Memphis Depay, Danielle Mullen, and Xavi Simmons. None of those guys have
no.
confidence going
And,
in.
and like Frankie De Young's there as well. I mean, he hasn't played a lot for Barca, I think,
Mhm.
just because of injury stuff. But yeah, I'm. It's weird in the sense I feel like you can't count them out, but I'm also in the sense of I think people have like we've seen the Dutch as like giants, just like I mean, obviously they made the World Cup in final 2010, but I feel like their era has kind of been done for a while. But I'm in the sense of I just don't know. You can classify them as like a world class team, and then like I feel like they're just in the mix of like the average. Like it's just
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but I'm also in the sense of I feel like if they were to be firing on all pistons and like they do come out in chemistry, like they are going to be dangerous.
Like they still have Van Dijk. Like no question
Gakpo's
about
better
it.
for the Dutch than he is for
Gakpo's better
Liverpool.
for the Dutch.
So
No question
I'm
about it. They could turn it on. I'm not saying that they can't do it.
but
I'm just saying if there
McTomin,
was a
yeah,
giant to not get out of the group stages, I
it would
think
be
the Dutch
Netherlands.
would be it.
Yeah, I agree.
Because the group is not easy by any stretch of the imagination. I think Sweden sneaking in is really surprising. I still like let's preface
Isak
this.
looked good.
I still have them going through in my prediction, but I'm saying if there's a giant to go out of the at the group stage, I think the balance of luck would just find them out because they got really super fortunate last World Cup against Senegal. They did not perform well against Ecuador and got lucky to get a point, and then they got to face Qatar. And then the round 16, they got the US. So I don't think they had this tough road to get to that quarterfinal. They didn't perform well enough in the quarterfinal. With that being said, they almost stole it,
Yeah,
which is fair enough. But I don't see the magic with this team
yeah,
that I used to see in old teams. The ones with Robben, Van Persie, Wesley Schneider. I don't see that same Dutch team. I see Van Dijk having to do a lot of the carrying of the load from a defensive standpoint, personally.
but honestly, though, at the same time, that's him every game. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, not like that's not like a bad. I'm just more of like I think he's just with how dominant and how he
Mhm.
plays. He does that. That's how he is in every game. And yeah, again, not that Van Dijk's been poor or anything, but again, like if he's like
He's
you
played a
said,
lot of minutes.
the fatigue and just like mental lapses of anything, I'm with you. Of like he's got to be ready to go and all that. But it'll be interesting. So Japan, I think,
I like Japan a lot. I mean, they're missing some key players, right? So
but
they're gonna miss Matoma and Minamino. I love those players, but with that being said, I think this is their best range of midfielders they've had in a long time. Like
man,
and
like
wingers in Kubo, you got Wataru Endo, who's going to be healthy now. They have Daichi Kamada from Crystal Palace, Ritsu from Frankfurt. I think they have a lot of good players. I think they have a guy in Hajime Moriyasu who's moved up through the levels from U22 to U23
yeah,
to manager, similar to how Luis de la Fuente's moved with Spain, which is what I like. I like when they have that. They don't have to go for this high profile manager, but they do work them up the levels so that they're working with the same players their entire way through their career
yeah.
to build that team. I think that's a really good idea. And they really impressed me last World Cup. And I think it's sometimes it's tough when a team that kind of overperforms, you ask them to overperform again because they weren't completely stellar in the Asian qualifying. But I really like this team. And they have one defined way of playing and they know how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be, when I was in Japan, man, this year, beginning of this year, and like I was
Hmm.
there with my friend, and like the country's like really excited about it. Like
Hmm.
you, like and like they were like advertised there too, like everywhere. I was surprised like how big like footy's become there
Hmm.
for sure, and Not that that's like the most important thing, but again, I just think like you come off. I think they know what they're capable of, but it's going to
Mhm.
be a matter of can they get back to like the levels of like beating Germany and Spain. But obviously, like the mentality is there, just in the sense that like they know what they can do, and yeah, like I think for them, like it's got to be, in my opinion, getting out of the group. Like I think there's a strong chance, and it's all going to go down to those games, and I wanted to just lead it into Sweden
Yeah.
on the sense of like if you look at like their like Gyökeres and Isaac looked good. I don't know if you just saw the goal he
Yeah, yeah. He had more. I made a tweet about it. He had more touches on that goal than he did against Everton in April for the full game.
so
So,
that's why I'm like I'm curious to like see how like what you think of like or like prediction or what ours is.
okay.
But yeah,
Well, I mean,
again
let's
like
talk about the other two real quick. I really
yeah,
like
like
Japan. I'm not sure about the Dutch.
yeah,
Tunisia, I'd say they're the weakest team in this group. I think that's pretty fair, but they're still good. They're a decent outfit coming out of Africa. They have Hannibal Mejbri, they have
yeah.
Montasar Talbi, their defensive spine, Elias
Skiri or whatever from
Shkiri.
Frankfurt. Yeah,
Um, they're used to they're used to this team. They did beat France last World Cup. I know it was a nothing game for France, but they ended up beating France in the last World Cup. And they're kind of a solid spine. And this is kind of when I was looking through the teams in this group, I thought, okay, does everyone in this group have something different to offer that if the Dutch are not playing well, they could take advantage of against the Dutch? This
yeah,
game versus Tunisia could end at 0-0 if no one takes a chance.
yeah.
Like they're a really good defensive side. So I don't think Tunisia is going to get 0 points out of this group. With that being said, I don't have them going through, but I wouldn't count them out. I think their goal is the knockouts. Um, three
So
wins all time in the World Cup. They're really going to rely on not conceding. But I don't mind this team. I think they could go out and beat a Sweden, and they could even beat a Japan. Japan has the as much as I like Japan, they play higher to their level, but then they also play down to their opponents sometimes, which is what we saw at the last World Cup when they lost to Costa Rica, but beat Spain and Germany. So
that's why I was gonna say for like my predictions. I mean, I think they are going to be different than yours, but I actually have the Dutch winning this group. I just think
mhm.
with how it's going to go, even if it's only like a win and two draws, I still think they're going to go. I
Yeah.
have Sweden finish second, and then
Hmm.
I have Japan third and Tunisia fourth. And the reason I have Japan third, I was just gonna like kind of how you were saying. I just think with how they were at the last World Cup, and like I think a lot of it, like there is luck a part of it, and like with some of the players they are missing, I just think
The expectation's high for them.
it is high for them, and I just yeah, I think a lot of people are like, what do you have? I know I don't want to ramble
So
too much on.
even like game by game, I had the Dutch winning the last game that they played to get to 4 points. I was looking at the schedule thinking like I don't know if they're going to be able to. I don't know. I think they're going to. You'd obviously put your money on them going through. No question about it. It would be shocking, a miracle for them to not go through. They're the only giant I actually think has the chance to not go through with this group. I have Japan, the Dutch, Sweden, and I have Tunisia finishing last with 2 points. I have this being a really close group though.
Yeah,
I have from first to last separated by 3 points because I just think this could be a hectic group with a lot of different profiles and different games. Um, so yeah,
sure.
this is going to look different in our bracket because I have Japan first, Netherlands second, Sweden third. I'm pretty sure I have Sweden go. Yeah, I do have Sweden going through to the bracket. Um, but this is going to be a fun group. I think this is one of the toughest ones to call.
For sure.
I do think a lot of people are picking the Dutch, and I have no problem with that. I just think I this is a little bit of bias. I don't like Ronald Koeman. I don't think he's a good manager.
He's not my favorite either. I just think even when he was
Yeah,
at Barcelona, it just was like,
I think the Dutch keep getting away with having subpar managers
yeah,
personally, but that's
yeah,
just me. Um, okay, let's move on to Group G. I don't think we need to spend a lot of time on Group G. I think we can kind of speed from this
yeah.
one.
I think we get through this one pretty quick. Belgium's golden era is done. I think this is kind of just going to be a really a like it's just going to like show everyone like it's done. Like this is kind of like
It is
and
done.
not
Yeah.
in a bad way. I'm just
Mm,
like you got De Bruyne. Okay, like yes, we know, and like
yeah.
we saw this year why Man City I think let him go, which is the
Mm,
like those
injuries.
injuries which he's been dealing with. Lukaku, just we haven't heard about him. I just think he's just been a mess in the media,
Mm,
bouncing from team to team, and I think their best player by far is Doku.
Yes,
Heck of a
I
team.
have him there as well.
And that's where I think he's going to get a lot more opportunities to be the main guy. I think this year, or
Mhm.
he has to be. I think. Uh, so yeah, I have him, and it's yeah,
Yeah, I think their golden age is over. Obviously, I don't think the right manager for that golden era was Roberto Martinez, but I mean he got them to a World Cup semifinal, so you can kind of debate, what should they have won something or should they, you know, pat themselves on the back for getting there. I think they missed some chances at the Euros by losing to Wales. Um, but this team is not the same team. They're
Mhm.
aged out a little bit. Their defense looks really shaky. I don't really recognize many of the names in their defense. And that's
No,
the big thing because their old defensive Alderweireld, Vertonghen, company, like that was the team that golden generation was built up from. They had again Moussa Dembele as well. This is not the same team. With that being said, this is a group they could easily take advantage of and win,
yeah,
regardless. Because
no,
you
and
got
like
Iran, who's dealing with a lot of stuff outside of actually just playing football.
yeah, I
Um,
don't think we get into it too much, but I think everyone kind of knows what's going on with that. And again, like I'm seeing right now though, like Iran are ranked 21.
they're a good team. I actually do think they're a good team.
Uh,
So they struggle with the big boys, but I picked them to go and get out of the knockouts last time, and they narrowly missed out. I think they're a really good team. I think the problem with them is they have so much distraction heading in, and an inability to get certain coaching staff their visas to go to the U.S. that
I think it all
it's
got
gonna
cleared
paint a
though.
dark
I think it
cloud
all,
over it.
yeah, that's going to be interesting.
I do have them finishing second, though. I do think the big decider will be how they face up with Egypt.
Our group should
Um,
do. I'm curious to see who you have number one, but I was gonna say then
ooh,
like yeah, Egypt. I mean, obviously, I think we've kind of like everyone. I mean, you have
everyone kind of
most.
knows what their two best players are. It's
We
Mohamed
know,
Salah
yeah.
and Omar
There's not a
Marmoush.
lot, and again, New Zealand. You got Chris Wood from Forest,
Hmm.
and I think he's a great player. They have the guy from Olympiacos as well, and yeah, I think round of 32. I like it should be a goal for them. I think that what their expectations are going
For
into
New
it.
Zealand,
Yeah,
I have them win a game. I mean, they lost to Haiti 4-0, and now I have to really rethink of how bad New Zealand is. They're ranked 85th in the FIFA rankings. They got through the Oceania conference, and they had to beat, I think it was New Caledonia. So I don't think I've seen enough of New Zealand to think that they're actually like going to be competitive at this tournament. They'd be the one I'd wager to be the worst team at this tournament personally. Haven't seen enough, but if they're losing to Haiti 4-0 handily, I know they're a World Cup team, and maybe that looks better on Haiti and worse on New Zealand. I just don't know if they're good enough to actually compete at this level. And I personally, when I was picking this group, I slotted Belgium first, I slotted New Zealand last, and then I basically just waited up between Iran and Egypt to finish second and third. By your
I
facial expression, you have a shock in this one.
I have Egypt winning the group.
You have Egypt. Oh,
I got
that's tasty.
I
Oh,
got I got Egypt winning the group. I got Belgium second. Iran third, and then I have New Zealand fourth.
okay.
Yes, like I said, okay, maybe round of third again. Like
But
it's
there's
not in
some
the sense of,
shocks. Like World Cup has shocks, and it's not a bad pick.
and then
I don't think
I just
Egypt's
think
good
Mo
enough.
Salah is gonna come in after what's happened with Liverpool. That's like my biggest thing with this. Is I just think he. I know he doesn't have anything to prove, but I feel like with how he like was treated this year and just how that like his Liverpool exit was
Hmm.
far from ideal, like far
For
from
sure.
ideal. And
For
I just
sure.
think he's this World Cup. I think he's just going to be like, okay, you know what, slots out now. I'm going to show him like, but yeah,
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean I have Belgium winning all three games in this group. Um, I
yeah,
know they're not the same golden generation, but I don't like Egypt enough. I think they get through the AFCON by being quite defensive, but I think that can work against African teams, certain
yeah.
African teams that can't break them down. Um, and they're just so heavily reliant on the two up top that maybe I'm just not sold on Egypt. I have
No,
Belgium,
it's
Iran,
fair, and like those aren't. I'm
Egypt, and
not
New
even.
Zealand.
I
Yeah.
can't even argue those because
I
it's
like the narrative though. I mean, I'm picking based off narratives for a lot of it. You're gonna see when my bracket comes up, there's a couple scorchers of matchups. But I have Belgium, Iran, Egypt, and I have Egypt going through on 4 points because I think Iran and Egypt would tie that game, and then it would kind of go down to goal differential. But I have New Zealand getting no points, and that's they could get a point based on all the research I've done. They just don't have the team,
no.
New Zealand. they just went through a really weak Oceania division and
Beautiful
conference,
country.
and I
I,
just
I love that country, and anyone should
great
go see it.
country.
Everyone
I
should go see it, but on a footy pitch. Sorry, I'm with you. It's
I'm not
uh
sure if they're ready for this
no,
level personally.
no.
Even in this weak group, I just don't think they're ready. Let's move on
Group
to Group H.
again. I think this is another group. I think a lot of people. There's two, obviously. I think that stand out, and two that
Yeah,
are like on near the bottom. Spain, we don't need to go through it. I've
no.
pretty much like Yamal, he's going to be ready to go, and I think we know who they have. And
Mhm.
they expectations, they're favorites. I think on like just everywhere I've kind of seen, like
At
they are
least
the
one of
favorite.
three favorites
That,
for sure. I mean,
yeah,
they won the Euros. When you win the Euros and then you kind of keep that momentum, you're going to be favorites. I think they're feeling a little bit of pressure recently because they've
no,
drawn two straight games heading into the tournament against
yeah,
weaker opposition. But again, you're trying to feel out who you're going to start. So
no,
that can
and
happen with the
again,
bigger guys.
no Real Madrid players. So again, we'll it'll be interesting to see. I think
Yeah.
um, Uruguay. I mean, Suarez left out. I think
Suarez
that
left out,
was
but I think his knees are gone. I think
yeah.
that's obviously. I am really excited to watch Uruguay. I'm a big fan of Marcelo Bielsa. They play aggressive man-to-man pressing, cause chaos, risky, high turnover football. And when you're playing like that and your striker is Darwin Nunez, I need to see it. It's gonna be it's gonna be chaos, and it could be good and it could be bad, but it's gonna be box office. And I'm really excited to watch how Uruguay plays. I don't think they beat a team like Spain, but I do have them getting out of this group. Obviously, I think the two
Yeah.
best teams are quite defined in this one. I think deep blocks may be an inherent issue with Bielsa's system because it's always been. So maybe that could be a little bit of a hiccup when you're playing teams like Cabo Verde and Saudi Arabia, who have been there and won a big game at the World Cup. But I do have them definitely. I think their goal is to go to the quarterfinal at least. Um, but I mean, you got Valverde, you got Nunez, you got Ronald Araujo. I think they have good players, and they can make it work.
I think Saudi Arabia and Cape Verde,
It's kind of toss up with them. I think Saudi Arabia is a weird one. I don't know how to. Their recent form isn't good enough for me to really think they're going to pull off another one, but they could. They
I
always
think,
could. I think they could pull off and get a draw against Uruguay and still not make it out of this group. Personally,
yeah, I don't know, Cape Verde, even there, like, it's just, there's not anyone that, like, really, like, stands out to. I mean, like, yes, they beat Argentina 2-1 at the last World
hmm
Cup, but it's kind of, I'm with you on the sense of it's just, yeah, it's,
yeah, I mean they're
they're,
a compact mid to low block. I think it's interesting their story to even get here. Their goal for me is to win a game. I don't think they will. They have a population of just over 600,000 people. I mean, it's a phenomenal story. I'm just not sure if they can compete with teams like Uruguay and Spain and even Saudi Arabia, who 4 years ago was able to pull off one of the upset of the tournament over the eventual winners.
like, not in a bad way, but there's a chance, like, Spain put five or six past them. Like, there's a high
I could see Spain.
probability.
I could see Spain not getting 9 points and winning one of these games against Saudi or Cabo Verde like 7 or 8-0, like they did against Costa Rica last World Cup. They're just
Yeah,
that
that,
good that if they got on a roll, it's impossible to stop.
and yeah, I think, like, too, like, with picking even your, like, your golden boot, like, you got to, like, take into account, like, what,
What
like,
stat pad sessions are each team gonna have?
yeah. So
Yeah,
again, but it's also in the sense I think like Spain, like with guys who are dealing with injuries and so like okay, we don't have to like play, but then like the quality and depth they have, dude, you never know. So,
I
but
mean,
yeah,
so let's go
who?
to our picks. I mean, I think we're gonna have a similar one here. I have Spain, Uruguay, Saudi Arabia, and Cabo Verde, and I don't have either of those south. What am I trying to say here? I don't have Saudi Arabia or Cabo Verde making it out of the group stage.
Yeah, no, yeah, I think everyone's gonna
I
have
think it's a nice
this.
safe pick. I don't know. I don't know
It's
why
a
you would go
safe group.
against it personally.
No,
Maybe
so
Uruguay if you want to be like Uruguay is going to be a fun team. I get it if you want to pick them, but I just not my. I don't think they're gonna surprise anyone this time around. Could be wrong.
now this group, Group I, this is a
I think this is the group that rivals the one above we were talking about in Group C. That's just filled with talent. And you were saying how you weren't liking France. Like, talk to me about France a little bit.
I don't know. I mean, I think Mbappe, he's one of those guys that can actually win you a World Cup by yourself,
Yep.
by himself. I just don't. I think there's just been. I mean, I don't know. But now you look and like I look at the guys they have on their team, and I'm just. But again, they just lost to Ivory Coast 2-1, right?
Hmm.
So it's. But again, like you have Dembele, you have Shirky, you have Chouameni, you have Mbappe. If anything, it's their like back line that would scare me a little bit. But I'm
Me
also
too. Upamecano and Kanate, I'm not sold. Maybe Saliba, but
who are
do they
their
have
full?
that
You have
defined
fullbacks. They have what? Gusto.
Malo
Um,
Gusto and probably Luca Hernandez
yeah, like I don't.
and
I
Digne. Digne
just
is on this team. Luca Digne.
I Yeah. So what I was gonna like where that's what the sense or scares me in the sense of like we look at like we know who Norway has,
Hmm.
and then like Senegal I think is an extremely underrated team in this World Cup. And yes, they won the AFCON and there's all the stuff going on, but it's a hard group to pick. And I
Yeah.
think my choice may confuse you. You may be a bit like, okay, this is a bit insane, but
We'll see. I mean, we have some shocking picks in general. I mean, if you don't have France first, we're gonna have a different first team pick. I still have France finishing first. I just think their talent pool is so deep that even if they are a little shaky in the group stage, they can get over it because I think a team could beat France and not finish top.
yeah,
Just the way the group's set up. Like,
I still have France at the top. Don't worry about that.
okay, okay.
I'm more just saying like going into like the later rounds. I don't know if this team to me doesn't feel as strong as the last World Cup.
No, I mean their goal is to win. Obviously, they would be the. I think they're trying to become the third team to make it to three straight World Cup finals, mirroring. I think it's West Germany from '82 to '90 and Brazil from '94 to '02. So they're chasing quite a big feat. I don't know if that this team is as good as those prior teams. But with that being said, I'd still probably put them in my top five favorites.
Oh yeah, they're there. I'm not
Um,
taking anything away from them. I to me they feel kind of like Brazil, not like the same level, but I
yeah.
just feel like it just. I mean Ryan Shirky, I think he's gonna be one of those ones where, and then
Yes.
also like now I'm like you have Due as well, who's just been thriving, but it's like who do you play? Because you
It's a
can't
lot
play
of tough
Tierney,
choices that Deschamps
Shirky,
has to make.
Mbappe,
Yeah.
Dembele. Like you just have so much. Like I think for the and their midfield, they're on like I don't think Conte made the final team.
I think he did. Did he not?
Did he? I don't know.
I
But
don't know.
again, like
I had ChatGPT to look it up, and sometimes it gets it wrong. So I'm not gonna
yeah.
say that he made it or not. I think there is a world in which they underwhelm at this World Cup and next World Cup. You look at all these youth guys coming through with a new coach, and you go, "Wow."
But it's
Um,
also like Mbappe, like
it's
Real
France though.
Madrid, Real Madrid, just another year of no titles. So I think he's going to be hungry going into this World Cup to kind of prove like why.
Yeah,
'Cause, again, La Liga, I think he was top scorer in La Liga. Yes, they didn't win any titles, but again, it's like it's another one of those situations. Okay, France win the World Cup and he's the best player. He's there for Ballon d'Or. It's like because Messi, it's the same situation
World
if
Cup's
you
a
look
huge
at it
deal for that.
with when Messi won his last Ballon d'Or was PSG. He was like almost no goals, but yes, he had most assists. But you win the World Cup, and it changes everything. So I and then Bobby said injury issues. So again, you can never know.
It's gonna be an interesting group. I mean, I have them finishing first. If I have to talk about Iran real, sorry, not Iran, Iraq real quick. My goal for them was to win a game. I think they had really positive result recently. They drew Spain like 2 days ago, and they're under
Spain
the
didn't
former
play Iraq.
Australia boss Graham Arnold, who brought them to the knockout stage last tournament. I just personally think they were dealt a bad hand.
Iraq don't win a game.
I just think they were dealt a really bad hand. I don't know how you can
I I
reasonably pick Iraq to go through this group with a Norway and Senegal. I think that's where I'm going to leave it with Iraq. I feel bad for them. They have a decent
well,
manager. They have a good story, but it's just a tough group.
yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
Norway, we know who they have. I mean, Holland, Odegaard, Sorlot. I mean, there's a lot of attacking pieces. They have their team out in Bodo Glimt, who's really made waves this season with the club, that are probably high on confidence. This is a good team that hasn't made this tournament in a while. Like haven't qualified since '98. Um,
They're up there for dark horse, I think, just in the sense
they
because
really
so
could be. They haven't been there and done that, but they're a good team. I mean, knocking out Italy is
this is
no
where
easy
like I'm
thing.
curious to see who we have second and third. I guess
Yeah,
it's
let's. I mean, like, let me. I'm just gonna say real quick about Senegal. Let me just
yeah.
list off their players. Lamine
They got
Kamara,
Mane.
Sadio
Mm,
Mane, Kalidou
Sar.
Koulibaly, NDI, Ishmael Assar, Edward
Yep.
Mendy, Jessica Gay, Pap Sarr, Nico Jackson. This is on paper the most stacked African team
Where is
ever put together.
where's Kudus from? I don't know
Kudus
if
is
he's
Ghana.
fit. He's gone. Okay.
I
Yeah,
think he's
sorry.
Ghana.
Yeah. But yeah, no, again, it's a great team. They're in
As
there.
capable as any team to make a deep run, in my opinion. Just on paper. I don't know how they're going to look once this tournament
And
starts.
like look, if you look again, Morocco made like the semifinals.
Hmm.
So there's no reason Senegal like
I mean,
couldn't go on a
my
run.
goal for them is quarterfinal. They made the round of 16 last time out. I think quarterfinal is a reasonable spot to really shoot for.
Yeah.
They may want to shoot for higher. I'm not saying they wouldn't, but this is a good team. This is a good team. Let's go through our picks. Let me pull this up. Okay, I have France first. I have Senegal second. I have Norway third. I have Iraq fourth, and I have all three of these teams qualifying for the next round.
Um, yeah, I got France first. I got Norway second, and I have Senegal third.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean that it
Again,
feels like a
it,
pick 'em between Norway and Senegal.
all again, yeah, all three of them. It goes either way. You don't know, but for me at least, that's just what I
And you
just
could
think Holland, you can't like. It's not if we're looking at biggest names in the tournament. Obviously, you have Messi, Ronaldo, and then I think you have like Holland and
for
Mbappe.
sure getting
So
his first World Cup.
I think he's going to be extremely motivated. And but again, like it's with that's the thing with international football. It's like your depth is so important, and
It is,
like
and I don't really
they
have
don't,
it, but
but that's why you never know. So
you never know when you get to the knockouts. If they get to the knockouts out of this group, you just never know how those games are going to go.
yeah,
Let's move on to Group J. I think
yeah,
I think we're both going to pick the same team to finish first out of this group. I think what more could we say about Argentina? I mean, their goal is to win, go back to back, and be the third team to go back to back in World Cup history, mirroring Italy in 34-38 and Brazil 58-62 with Pele. Incredibly tight knit group. They have 18 of their 26 players returning from the 2022 group that won that tournament. Um, Messi's still there, Scaloni's still there. They have as good a chance as anyone to win this tournament. The only thing that could bog them down is expectations. But as we've seen, I mean, their
they are
route if they
so
finish first and
they are
Portugal finish first, I'm gonna leave that there. But I think we may have the same game by that point. It's gonna be really interesting. I have them finishing top of this group. I don't see a reason why I wouldn't.
yeah no I we know who they have. You got the greatest player to ever touch a ball. You have Julian Alvarez coming off one heck of a season.
Oh man,
Uh,
they just have some good players. It's a little
yeah,
bit McAllister not playing well. He could flip it by the time he gets to
we
Argentina.
know again. Yeah, I don't think we need to like. Everyone knows what they have, what
Yes,
the
yeah.
expectations are coming into this World Cup. So I think this group is kind of again. They lost Saudi Arabia. Is there a chance something again happens? Yeah, potentially, but I just think there's no way they don't make it out of like the group. It's
Even if something were like that to happen, I
catastrophic.
still would back them to finish top of
Oh
this
yeah,
group with the group they have. They've
and
been there, they've felt that adversity and gotten out from it.
do you have
There's
them though in your top five?
yes, and in
Okay.
my top five to win the tournament, yes, for sure, for sure.
I'm hearing
I
people who are like, no, they're not even gonna. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna let you have your. Everyone's
I think
allowed
they're
their.
shakier as a unit, but in terms of confidence, when you have Messi leading the line, he may not be as effective as 4 years ago, but that team still has the confidence to go out and win
Man,
another
I
one.
I think he is still the same. I still think he could be
Yeah,
playing, and yeah,
he's gonna be so much fun. I just can't watch him much in the MLS. I just don't know when the games are going on, and I don't watch him. I watch a lot of highlights. I'm just excited to watch him play again at a World Cup. I think moving on to Austria, I really liked how Austria performed at the Euros under Ralf Rangnick. They have Ralf Rangnick again.
yeah.
They don't have a lot of star talent on that team, but like Marcel Sabitzer, Nicholas Seewald, Michael Grigorich, I think they have a really structurally based, well-run team that would be tough to take out in the group stages. I have their goal being the round of 16.
I'm curious to
Um,
see where you have them finish in the group too. Oh, actually, I don't. Maybe it's not all.
I think we may have him in the same area. They have a high intensity pressing unit capable of creating upsets. The better end of the tier, they're definitely the better end of the tier B sort of sides at the World Cup.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'm not sure if I would pick them to go super far, but
No, no.
I think it's a really well coached team. I think they're going to be a tough team to beat, and I have. I'm not going to bring it up yet, but I have them doing pretty well. And then I have, Algeria and Jordan. Jordan, first time in the tournament.
It's
Um,
like it's like Curacao, Cap Verde.
my
You
goal for
really
them is
don't
to
have
win a
any
game.
you don't have any
Yeah,
expectations for them. I think it's just to maybe pull something out, and I
yeah.
guess we'll kind of see. I was just gonna say Algeria. Like I know they have like key players that have like obviously said Ben Rama. You have Soleimani, and then you have
Hmm.
Riyad Mahrez if he's available. And again, like all guys who can perform. I
Yeah.
think Mahrez you would say is probably their best player, but again, he hasn't. We haven't really heard a lot about him since he went to
Yeah.
Saudi.
Well, I mean,
So
he's going to be the older guard player. I really like Mohamed Amoura. I think if Algeria do
yeah.
anything at this tournament, Amoura will be is one of their few pacey winger outlets that's going to make a little bit of noise. Um, I think I do have them going through in this group, but I just don't trust Jordan enough. They have their attack is on the shoulders of Ali Olwan. I've never heard him before, but he has 18 goal contributions in his last 18 for Jordan. They made it to the Arab Cup final, lost 3-2 to Morocco. Could they do something? Yes. Do I know enough about them to actually stick my neck up for them? Not
Yeah.
really. We can go to prediction for this one. I have Argentina first, Austria second, Algeria third, and Jordan fourth, and I have Algeria going through in that third spot.
Yeah, I'm the exact same.
Yeah, that's. I think that's to be expected. I think Austria is a good team to bank at least to get out of that position. What are we on? Group K.
Yeah.
It's gonna move on to Group K. Portugal. I think it's obvious what we're gonna say about this team. Neither of us want them to win, but they're a really, really good team, and personally, they're in my
I
top
would
five.
I would arguably say the strongest midfield in
Yes.
the tournament without a doubt.
Yeah.
Actually, there's no arguing it in my opinion. I don't.
Bruno Fernandez at his level right now, playing how he's playing.
Vitinha,
Vitinha. You have Nuno Mendes who's gonna bomb down the sides. You always have Ronaldo. I don't know how they're
Bernardo Silva,
Bernardo Silva. My
Ruben.
God, I forgot to even put him on the list.
Yeah, you got Ruben Diaz as well.
Yeah,
I
just a good
just
team. Just a
it,
really,
it's
really solid team.
it's the exact same I think as the Argentina group in the sense of Portugal are the clear favorites for sure.
Yeah,
I would say this is Ronaldo's last like actual chance. I don't
for
think
sure. I don't think
I mean,
Portugal
but
take
again,
him again to a
also it's
tournament like
Ronaldo,
this.
so I'm like he's in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has the next World Cup, so it's like if there's anyone at his age who's going to be there for the next one, it would probably be him.
Sure, but
Um,
at some point they have to stop listening to Homelander about being on this team and starting. There's no. I don't think you should start. I think he should come off the bench and be like the impact guy for the last 30 minutes
but
of
and
every
then
game.
that's
Personally,
where I think it could hurt Portugal because I do think they start him. I think Roberto Martinez. I
yeah.
think Portugal and like yeah. 'Cause who was the last? Was Ronaldo
Gonzalo
playing on the
Ramos was
bench?
the guy who replaced him in that last World Cup in the round of 16 when they didn't start him, and then that coach was fired. I don't think it was for that reason, but it's just funny how the way that timeline
But
works up.
I think they're going to start him. I mean, I think he's
Yeah,
one of those players though that will never put his ego to the side on the sense of he thinks he should be starting every single game, and like he has the right to believe in that.
and he has the ego to want as many records as he wants. He wants to score in 6 World Cups.
Do you know
He
what I
wants to
forgot?
win this World Cup, and he wants to be a major playing part of this World Cup.
Do you know who we forgot to mention?
Who?
Saudi Player of the Year, João Felix.
Saudi Player of the Year?
Yeah,
I
he
haven't
was
even noticed he's playing well, but I mean, good for him because he needed a comeback after the merry-go-round of teams he was moving through.
I mean, I guess like he's in, and that's where I feel like I mean Ronaldo and him in the sense of like a lot of like you're playing in Saudi and the heat,
Yeah,
so they've been playing in these conditions now year round.
yeah.
Uh,
I'm also. This is the big thing, right? Let's see if Roberto Martinez gets it right, or if he ruins another golden generation with just stale football,
I
aka
would
like the
say
Belgium golden
I
generation.
would s-
Because I don't like him as a manager. I don't know why they hired him. If you're gonna hire anyone, you hire Mourinho.
I
Portuguese guy who's actually going to bring them to something. I don't know. I don't like that appointment personally.
I think though this is the strongest they have been in I
Yeah,
would say like since like me being obviously you could say they're stronger when Ronaldo was in better form or whatever
hmm
like or when he was younger but I just think if we look at it now like this is like I think the strongest team and the best chance they have And
quite
obviously, how we were
possibly. Yeah,
talking about, there's a good chance they go up against Argentina and on the way to, I think it's quarters.
I think we have the same quarterfinal. I think a lot of people are going to have that same
And
quarterfinal,
everyone,
and it's interesting because when everyone expects something, sometimes it just doesn't happen. I'm curious to see what happens in the World Cup that doesn't give us that quarterfinal of Messi versus Ronaldo because it will.
question for
It
you
looks
though,
very likely to happen.
question for you though, and I don't know if this is a hot take on my end.
Give
I'm
it to me.
almost in the sense if Portugal and Argentina do play each other, if if Argentina do knock Portugal out, I don't think Messi will be extremely upset if they do. Obviously, he's going to be upset they don't win, but I don't think it'll be as like substantial for him because now it's like he. I think Messi isn't as like open about him thinking he's the best
The
ever as
rivalry,
Ronaldo
yeah,
is. So I just think in the sense of like Messi knows Ronaldo's not going to win it again. I think in his head he's like, okay, I'm kind of like, I think that's like a big thing. It's I could be wrong,
yeah.
and I think Messi's going in to win it without a doubt. But I'm just saying, I think people are like, this is like people's last kind of like hoorah on like the Messi Ronaldo debate. So
For
it's kind
sure.
of like, and I will say, if Ronaldo like. If Portugal do go on to win the World Cup, Ronaldo, yes, they have a fair point to argue that he's like the best ever. You can go into Ballon
Yeah,
d'Ors, all the other stuff, but I just think like it's like the big one, right?
yeah.
So,
I mean,
and it
yeah,
Ronaldo, I think, knows this is kind of his last chance, and I think Portugal in 4 years from now won't be as strong as they are now. Yes, some of the
no.
guys will be older, but
Two things. I think regardless of whether Messi won that World Cup or not, I would still think Messi is the greatest player to ever
same,
play the game.
same, exactly.
So it wouldn't change my opinion. It would change their arguments. But second of all, I think if Messi were to lose to Ronaldo, I think it would seriously bother him that he got beat by Ronaldo. I think if Ronaldo gets beat by Messi in that quarterfinal, I think it follows him around like a dark shadow for the next 40, 50 years of his life. Like Ronaldo is so
Imagine
much more
Argentina.
bothered about the comparison than Messi is.
Imagine though, but like
He's
Argentina
so
not.
Ronaldo's so much more bothered. In Ronaldo's documentary that he has on Netflix, they have him a portion watching the 2014 World Cup final where Messi's playing against Germany. Messi's Messi's thing would just be him playing with his wife and kids. Like they have two different ways of thinking about this. Ronaldo is much more competitive about this rivalry than Messi ever has been.
Yeah, and
Personally, in my opinion, based on
I'll say
all the
this
remaining data
to
and things they've said
every
to each other.
single Ronaldo fan out there. If Messi and or if Argentina and Portugal play against each other, and Messi knocks out Portugal and Argentina go back to back, I never want to hear the word GOAT affiliated with Ronaldo again. I never want to hear it. It's already not there for me, and like people have, and I get it, they're allowed to have their opinion, but like if they go when they go back to back, when they go back to back,
I just think Ronaldo's the
it,
second best player of this generation, and that's no knock. I just think that's how good Messi is.
it's just how it is. Statistics.
Nothing
Messi
changes
hasn't
for
played as
me.
many games, and
Yeah,
Ronaldo just wants 1,000 goals. But yeah, enough of beating that. I wanted to.
yeah, because that's fine. I
We,
wanted to say something about that too. I mean, let's talk about a little bit about Colombia. I like Diaz. I like James Rodriguez. The story of it. I like Jefferson Lerma. I think it's shocking that Duran isn't on this team, but he's kind of ruined his own career by doing that. I think their goal should be about the quarterfinal.
yep.
But there's a bit of this thing with Colombia where their fans get really nervous playing teams of lesser stature. Because often, I don't know if you heard this story. I forget the guy who got murdered, but there was, I guess someone put a bet in Colombia. And when Colombia, the guy scored the own goal against the U.S. and ended up losing to the U.S., they got knocked out in 94 in America. When he came home, he was murdered swiftly in like 2 or 3 weeks following it. There is this hoopla about them playing lesser competition. In this group, they have two teams who are very much so lesser competition, and I'm interested to see how they play against them. Because a team like Congo or Cannavaro's Uzbekistan, you never know. I think they will go through this group, but they're kind of heavily reliant on a set key kind of group of people, including the other guy named Luis Suarez, to get them goals and Diaz and Rodriguez. So um, I think we're gonna have similar picks on this group, but I wouldn't be shocked if Colombia drops like a crazy match.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean I think we all kind of I think everyone's again it's going to kind of have the top two are pretty obvious. I think
Yeah,
maybe pick between Congo and Uzbekistan, but yeah, I don't. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
Uzbekistan like made like they played well against Canada. I mean, I think it was what 2-0. I think it was a two
Uzbekistan lost against Canada. Yeah, 2-0.
yeah 2-0 loss. So, but again, they missed some good chances too, like two breakaways.
Mm.
So again, like there, it's up for discussion. But I'm yeah, and I think Uzbekistan, the one that stands out obviously is the Man City. I'm blanking. What's his name?
Kusanov.
Kusanov.
Yeah,
Kusanov. Yeah.
he's the big
So
player for sure. I
yeah,
think it's interesting having Fabio Cannavaro as their manager for about all 7 games. Um,
yeah.
after making the World Cup, I don't know what happened to the old manager. They have 5 wins and 2 losses under Cannavaro. 2 losses were Uruguay and Canada. 2 notable wins were Iran and Egypt. So I wouldn't count this team out completely.
No.
But I do have them finishing last in this group. I think we should
Yeah.
get into it. I think we both probably have Portugal, Colombia, and I have Congo and Uzbekistan. I'm not sure how you have the third and fourth place teams.
I actually think I have Uzbekistan then
You
Congo.
have it, okay.
Let me. Where is it?
I have a cool
Yeah,
fact.
I have Congo going out.
And fourth, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a cool fact about Congo. I thought this was just interesting. Only one World Cup appearance in 74. However, they were called the nation of Zaire at the time and never got past the groups, losing all 3 games, scoring none, and conceding 14 goals. So they don't have much. They don't have much World Cup history. But I know a couple Congo. I have a couple Congolese buddies who are probably really excited to watch them at the World Cup. I think maybe win a game is probably their top
Yeah,
go
oh, yeah.
to, and maybe Uzbekistan would be the same. But they both could get to the knockouts if they beat each other by X amount of goals. So we'll
That's
see.
crazy.
I think Portugal is quite the easy group in this case. Let's move on to Group K. Is this the last one?
There's a Group L. Group L. No, yeah, we just did K. Now we're on Group L.
Oh, this is Group L.
So
Gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha, gotcha. So this is the last group.
yeah. So
Wonderful. Let's talk about the Kings England,
yeah,
the
I
Kings
mean,
boys. I mean, this is we talked at length last podcast about the squad, what we thought of it. I think they have to be in the top 5, but I think that's like fourth or fifth in terms of like
they're
favorites to
there.
win this
They're
tournament.
there every year. I think it's just
Do
uh,
you get the monkey off your back is the question. And I think
it's
we're getting
just
to an interesting little thing. If they finished first in their group, they could have a little bit of an easier path through kind of round of 32, round of 16, maybe quarterfinal. I don't exactly remember. I don't have it up right now, but I remember their road would being quite easier if they finish top of this group. But this group isn't just kind of the cookie cutter we were talking about in the 2 groups above. They have some tough opponents.
yeah. I don't know. To be honest with you, I kind of went a little crazy in this group with how I like ended up picking my predictions
Okay.
just because.
Okay. I'm interested to hear about this.
Yeah, I want it. So I don't know. England just I just feel like it's like with Kane missing that penalty. I just feel like it's kind of been like year after year. It's just these like little lapses in concentration that have costed them. But then
Hmm.
if you also look at, I feel like this year they have for the first time. I know we talked about in the last podcast, but Tuchel's like gone off of form and what
Hmm.
he's kind of worked with and liked. So I think we're gonna get a different feel to the England team, and I
Yeah.
think they're a bit more well balanced out. Yes, we have our key players, so we think they should be there, but like that's the beauty of like the English like
Uh-huh.
program. Like they've arguably like they're in top 3 or 4 teams like of
Hmm.
players to pick from.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would just say though, like expectations are like okay, now it's like we gotta like if they're gonna go and do it, I think like again, Kane Ballon d'Or was without a question. Like I think like he's up there too. So it's I
Yeah.
think Kane really needs to step up, and we've kind of seen it the last couple of years since moving to Bayern that he's like stepping up in big games and stuff. So it's just like now we really need him. And I've found Kane with England in World Cups and Euros, he's been on the quieter end. I think that's like an honest.
That's been a common criticism with him as he has been
Yeah.
on the quieter end. I think England will top this group. I think if this was Croatia's golden generation, which it kind of still is, but it's the old guys, that they would have a much better case of actually winning this group, Croatia. Um,
I
I do have England topping it, but I could absolutely see them working through the kinks and having a bad game here or there in the groups and then kind of figuring it out down the line. I do have them topping this group. I couldn't get myself to get Croatia over there. Um,
Oh,
we may have a big difference here. I have a shock team that actually made it to the groups. Sorry, made it to the knockouts from this group. I like Panama. I think they're well organized. I think they're difficult to break down, often outperforming expectations in CONCACAF competitions. I think they've been here for a while.
well,
I
this
think
is
they've
only their
built up a little
second
bit,
World Cup.
and I know, but I mean, they were there. They had a group of guys who were there. I think they perform well in the CONCACAF competitions. I don't trust Ghana. I've heard a couple people say that they don't trust Ghana. I know they have Semenyo. I'm not sure if Kudus is going to be healthy. Um, I'm just not sold on Ghana. So I think
Yeah,
Panama
well,
may actually
I
steal a game from Ghana that gets them into the next round.
okay, because
Because you may have gone. Okay, I'm interested. What's your group here?
okay, so my group for Group L, I have Croatia topping the group. I have England second. I have Panama third, and I have Ghana fourth.
So you also have gone to fourth. Okay. So you have Croatia, England, Panama. Yeah, so I have England. I have England. Yeah, we have two swapped up top. I have England, Croatia, Panama,
I just,
Ghana. It's not a
yeah,
big difference.
I mean, could be biased. Soccer team I play for, and the thing is Croatia, but I also just, I don't know. I just think they're so good at World Cups, and they just
They
like
are.
they um overperform every tournament. I'm just like, oh, they're not going to be there, and then it's like they are, and
Yeah.
I don't know if they're in like the top five, but I think like I just knowing England, there's just like there is a chance. I think there's a good, also a strong
Yeah.
chance England do top it, but I'm also in the sense of like, you know what, if it were to happen to any team, it
Hmm.
would be. And I think the biggest thing for me with the Croatians is I actually don't think they're scared of England, and that's not
I
saying
don't
they
think they're
don't.
scared of
And
anyone,
and I don't think
personally.
and I don't think that's like saying that they don't respect them. I think they know what they have, but I'm just like.
They've beaten them here
I
before.
don't, and like you got
They've beaten
Modric,
them
you got
here.
Vardiol, like yeah, so like it's
They
I'm
beat
not,
them to get to a World Cup final
and
eight
they've had
years
the
ago. So
same coach since 2017. They know the tactics, they know what they have to do, and like some of those guys, man, like they
they know
show
what
up.
they're doing.
Yeah,
They know what they're doing, and that's not a bad pick at all. I was really debating putting Croatia in that top spot, but I wasn't kind of. I just kind of figured if I'm betting on this, like Panama and Ghana, I don't know how much I trust them to finish for one or two. So it really is down to those two teams. I just think Croatia may have a weird game here or there where they lose um,
yeah.
to
Again,
to an
that's like
England, or they tie England and then maybe lose to a Panama. I don't know. I don't trust Ghana enough. That's why I didn't. I don't have Ghana getting a point. That could be wrong. I've just heard some people on Twitter saying I don't know if they trust Ghana too much and they struggle through their qualifying. So
yeah.
that's my group L. Ours are damn near similar. So why don't we? Do you have your bracket up?
Yes, I do. I'm gonna pull it up right now.
All right. Do you want to start on your round of 32 matchups and just go through them?
Yeah, let's
Talk
do
about why you picked where you picked. I mean, we've gone through every single team now. Um, I have a really interesting portion of the bracket. It's difficult, right? Because when you have third place teams that can go through to the round of 32, it's going to make the bracket a little bit different,
yeah,
right?
it's okay, so I guess why don't we do this? We do round of 32. I have right now Germany and Australia.
Hmm. I'm
I have
guessing,
Germ
yeah.
I have Germany going through. Then I have France and Japan. I have France going through.
Wow, you have France and Japan in that game.
Yeah.
That's a crazy round of 32 game.
I have Czech and Canada in the next one.
Hmm.
I have Czech going through in that game.
Okay, you had Canada knocked
Um,
out, yeah.
I have Morocco, Netherlands. I have Morocco going through. I have
Interesting.
England, Colombia. I have England going through. I
Okay.
have Spain beating Austria. And then I have Turkey beating Bosnia and Egypt beating Korea, South Korea.
Egypt being wow. So you have Egypt in a round of 16 spot, huh?
Yeah.
Is that your whole round of 32? Is there not more of that?
No, and then so then on the other side I have Brazil beating Sweden.
Okay.
I have Norway beating Ivory Coast.
That'll be a good game.
Mexico beating Scotland. That's
Oh,
this it's a I have
wow.
this one you may not agree with that. I have Croatia beating Senegal.
No, that's
Uh,
fine. That's about a toss up.
I think Argentina beat Uruguay.
I
I
have
have
that same game in mind.
I
Yeah.
have Belgium beating the US. I have Switzerland beating Algeria, and then I have Portugal beating Ecuador. So that's my round of 32.
Interesting. Okay. So I'm gonna go through mine. We have a lot of different ones just because it's weird, right? If we don't have the exact same picks in the group and then we pick different third place teams, they can just get sorted
Well,
anywhere.
I'll put like I'll put a screenshot of the full
Oh,
bracket. I'll have
we'll
Jack.
have that at the end. Yeah, I just want to kind of go through my round of 32. I have Germany and Scotland in that first game up in the top left. I have
Yeah.
Germany winning that. I have France Sweden. I have France winning that. I have Mexico Canada in that round of 32 match. This is completely a biased take. I have Canada winning that match. If they're going to beat anyone, it's probably going to be somebody from CONCACAF. That's me sticking my neck out. I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm backing the boys.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have them going to the round of 16. I have Japan versus Brazil, which would be a phenomenal game. I did not have the heart to pick Japan in that game. So I picked Brazil. I have Colombia, Croatia. That would be a really good game in the round of 32. I have Croatia winning. I have Spain, Austria. Kind of a weird kind of bogey team, but I have Spain winning that game. I have Turkey and Bosnia.
I
And
have that too.
I have Turkey winning that game.
I have Turkey winning
I
that too.
have Belgium and Algeria, and just by the happenstance that maybe I think Algeria gets some confidence, I think Algeria beat Belgium. I don't like Belgium in this tournament. I think their group is easy, and I think the minute they get to that knockout stage, someone could knock them out. I don't have them further down the line, so that's kind of why I picked them to lose this
Yeah.
game. But
Right
I
on.
could see it. I could see it. I have Morocco versus the Dutch. I have Morocco winning that game. Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast versus Senegal, a huge African matchup. I have Senegal winning that game. I have, as much as I talked up Korea, I just didn't like how the bracket sorted out because I had Korea versus Ecuador, and I have actually Ecuador winning in that game in a tight one. I have England, Norway. I think that would be a hilarious matchup with Holland going against the English. I have the English winning that game. I have Argentina beating Uruguay like you did. I have the US versus Iran in the round of 32. That's just how that worked out. I did not mean to put it like that. And I have the US winning that game. That would
Really?
be
You really? I'm just kidding. I'm just
I,
kidding.
I it's I think that's a toss up, but that would be one of the most hostile games we've ever seen at the World Cup.
I
I
think Trump would be on the U.S. bench.
he may be on the field. I have Switzerland versus Egypt. I have Switzerland winning that game, and then I have Portugal versus Panama, and I have Portugal winning that game. So that's my round of
Yeah.
32 done. Um, go for your round of 16. Tell me who's in your quarterfinals.
So we got Germany, France,
Yeah, I have the same matchup up there.
and I have Germany beating France.
Okay, okay. I like
And
Germany this World
then
Cup.
I
I
have
do.
Czech and Morocco. I have Morocco winning that. I have England, Spain. Who do you think I have? Who do you think I have going through?
Do you have England? No, you have Spain, don't you?
No, I got England beating Spain.
Really?
you know what, every year I'm like, you know what, I just pick who I think like, and then it's just
Yeah.
and
Wow,
then
Spain out in the round of 16.
I got Turkey, Egypt, and
Mhm.
I got Turkey going into to the quarters.
Interesting. I find it funny that that worked out that way. I have Turkey going to that exact same game, which is
So this
probably
is
an
gonna be
upset
another
pick.
hot take. I'm gonna get roasted beyond belief for this, but I have Norway and Brazil, and I have Norway beating Brazil.
That's so that's so sick. Wow.
Then I got Croatia beating Mexico,
Okay.
Argentina beating Belgium, and then I have Portugal beating the Swiss.
Wow. Okay.
Switzerland.
So I'm actually with
Diabolical. It's diabolical, but I'm not
the
even.
World Cup is so like there's so much anything can happen by the time the knockouts go in that you can't just afford to pick all the best teams and be like, oh, this is gonna be right. You just have no idea how it's gonna go. I have the same as you. I have Germany beating France. I really like Germany at this World Cup.
I know,
I
but
have a, I
it
have
feels right. It just feels
it
right.
does
And
it does. I have Canada and Brazil, which would be a hilarious game. I have Brazil. I can't in
yeah,
my right
there's
mind putting Canada through that game. I just think it
we
was a nice.
we win what, 1 out of 100 maybe, or 1 out of 1,000 maybe. I don't know.
There's one
Actually, no,
chance.
I'm
It's
gonna
like
say
Doctor
one.
Strange holding up his shaky finger. There's one chance out of
Yeah,
14 million, and that would be the no. Brazil's going to win that game. I don't even think Canada gets to the round of 16, but if that was the same path and they got to face Mexico,
yeah,
I, I I would sit on that couch, watch the game, and think they were going to win that game because that's just a good CONCACAF opponent to face, but not Brazil. I have Croatia versus Spain, and I have Spain winning that game to get to the quarters. I have Turkey versus Algeria. I have Turkey winning that one. That's a weird part of the bracket. We both I think a lot of people are going to have
There's
a
these
weak portion down there in that
yeah,
bottom left.
there's like a couple like holes you could kind of get in some. That's where it's like I feel like anyone like one dark horse just gets in there and they just have a good
And I
chance
feel
of getting.
weird picking Turkey as my dark horse nowadays, just based on how the 2020 Euros went. But whatever, I think that they have a very favorable group and would have a favorable road in that case as well.
Yeah,
I think so. I have Morocco versus Senegal in an AFCON final rematch. This is one of the more interesting ones.
that's
I have
way
Senegal beating Morocco in that game.
yeah. If they
I
play
think that
each other that game, because only thing with that though is I just think the Moroccans didn't. None of them went out into like social media saying like we're off Afghan. Like I don't. I think they
I don't
know.
think there's much animosity, but if they
Senegal,
replay, still
yeah,
it would be there. The animosity would be there. Two African teams in the round of 16. Oh my god. I have Ecuador versus England. This is kind of the portion where I thought England gets a little bit
yeah,
nice with the route because they're going to go ahead and face Ecuador. I think they're going to beat them. I have Argentina facing the U.S. I think that's crazy. I think Argentina win that one. Portugal versus the Swiss. I think a stronger Swiss team maybe puts up a bigger fight. I think Portugal goes through.
yeah.
So, I mean, in my bracket, I have USA, Iran, I have Morocco, Senegal, and then by the quarterfinals, I have Argentina, Portugal. I have a war zone in my bracket in terms of like crazy matchups. But I think we have pretty similar teams.
Yeah, so quarterfinals for me, I got Germany beating Morocco. I
Okay.
have England beating Turkey. I have Croatia beating Norway, and I
hmm
have Argentina beating Portugal.
Wow. So you do have the Argentina upset, and then you have Croatia again getting back there, and England facing Germany. Those are good matchups. Argentina, Croatia would be a rematch of last World Cup.
Yeah.
My God. I have Germany beating Brazil. I like Germany a lot. Uh, Spain beating Turkey. I have England beating Senegal in that game. Um, and I have Argentina beating Portugal as well. It would be. It feels
You
weird looking at it because I don't know if that's ever going to perfectly happen or if we're
you
ever going to
have
get that Messi Ronaldo game. But
it's the world versus Portugal at that point. I think
no,
anyone.
there's a lot of Ronaldo fans. You kidding me? The Saudis are going to jump on Portugal bandwagon
Okay, yeah, that's
for
true.
sure.
Yeah.
Um, and there's
Okay.
a lot of American guys. They love Ronaldo. Like there's
Yeah.
a I have friends who just love Ronaldo. Um, but yeah, I have so on my some so I have Germany, Spain, England, and Argentina. And you can finish off your bracket. Tell me who you got going through those semifinals and who you have winning.
So I got Germany beating England.
Okay.
I have Argentina beating Croatia,
Mhm.
and then so
You have a
we got a
rematch.
rematch. I got a rematch. And
You have
you
a
know what?
rematch.
I Messi's my favorite player ever, and that's just a bit of bias, but I have Argentina going back to back. I think they do it,
That would be the third team to do it. That's
and I just think then like Messi can I don't yeah I don't know. There's just like Messi just didn't really like announce like he said no one knew if he was going to the World Cup. Everyone knew he was going to the World Cup, but it was
yeah.
just like I don't know. And again, like there a hot chance that they blow up and they don't make a run? Absolutely, but
It's tough, right? Like it's a weird
it's
format this time around where you have to go through a lot of teams, and if you by chance have one of the bigger teams fall and then fall into your portion of the bracket, you just have a harder road. Like in mine, they have to go through Uruguay. That's a tougher team, but they should beat them. They have the US, then they have Portugal, and then they have
yeah.
England. So it's a tougher road, and I still have them going through it. But if you look at England's and mine, they have Norway, Ecuador, Senegal to get to get to Argentina. So
Yeah.
it is going to be a tougher road. I did pick Argentina to beat England in that semifinal. I think that if those two teams met there, that for some reason Argentina would prevail in that case, just based off history.
Yeah.
And I have Spain beating Germany, and in the final, I have Spain beating Argentina in the final. I know I'm wearing the Messi kit, but I just think Spain is the best team at this World Cup. I
It,
know
it,
they're
it
having some faults going in with the draws. I just think they know their identity the best. They have the best
I
young
agree.
player in the tournament. They have the best midfield in the tournament. Um, and maybe sometimes my big issue with Spain teams in the past years is that they've been able to keep such flawless possession, but they've
Yeah.
really never been direct with it. One
This
thing
year.
Luis de la Fuente has done is make them much more direct. And that's
Yeah.
what I love watching about them. That's what I love watching about them at the Euros when they outplayed England in that final. England made it close. But I just think Spain is one of those teams, and we're gonna have in my bracket a final of what the finalissima would have been if it were allowed to be played.
Yeah.
So there's your rematch.
I agree with you. And that's the thing, like, it's anything like, where is it? England, Spain, they played 10 times. Like, there's,
I guess like
in,
7-3, 6-4. I do think
yeah,
England's a good
it's
team.
just, and it's even like England, Germany. I think, like, I have Germany going back again.
Hmm.
But I think they're just a bit underappreciated. But again, like, we have our 5 teams. You could pick any route there for them.
For
There's
sure.
so many ways. But yeah, no, I think your bracket's great. And again, like, Spain are favorites for a reason. And I think Lamal is arguably like best individual, like best player on the planet individually, right now in the sense of that. But I agree with you. They have
But they have
like
guys outside of him that
you have
even if he's not
Rodri,
playing
you
well,
have
they can.
Pedri, you
Yeah,
have Almo, like you have Nico Williams. Like it's just like the list could go on. Like like
yeah.
it's um,
Defensively, attacking wise as well. Like Cucurella is one of the top left backs on the planet. I think he's phenomenal. Maybe he hasn't had the best year for Chelsea, but I think in a World Cup setting in that team, he's like integral to the
every
way
player
they're
is
going to
better. Every
overlap.
player is
Yeah,
better. Yeah,
every player. Um, the only issue maybe is their center backs, but they keep so much flawless possession sometimes that I don't think it matters. And a lot of
Kvaratskhelia,
times they can outscore teams.
yeah, Kvaratskhelia from Barca is good. I'm not too worried about them. And Laporte's going back,
Yeah.
so that'll be interesting as well. So yeah, but no,
Yeah, it's it'll be a lot of fun. I love the way the bracket worked out. I think it's gonna be really interesting when we see where teams finish because like our brackets change so much if one thing changes. Like
yeah,
simply like we both put Morocco above Brazil in that one seed, and what happens if just Brazil finishes top and Morocco second? What
I
happens
know.
to that part of the bracket? Where does Brazil go?
I think that's I think I may have done my I think I said I have yeah, Brazil on my so yeah, that's why mine ended up the ways I have Brazil finishing first in that group. I think that's why
I
I
was
got
wondering
all.
because you mentioned Brazil. Oh, sorry,
I
Morocco
think I
quite
yeah,
early.
so I think I put Brazil to win the group, not Morocco.
But again, like that just changes so much of it, and
You can yeah,
that
you
could
can
happen where they just get the same
yeah,
amount of points, 2 wins and a draw, and it just so happens that they end up one team with goal differential. That could just be the
yeah.
difference maker.
So
So yeah, why don't we finish up with our categories? We want to do? What do you think for Golden Boot?
I got Harry Kane. Just most goals in Europe this
Yeah.
summer. I think it just goes into the World Cup. I just think, again, kind of even with their games and everything like that, and how he's performed in the bigger ones.
Hmm.
I'm backing him, and I think I'm
I
comfortable saying that.
I have a very interesting theory on. I'm looking at like stat padding games. I don't think England have them necessarily
I
in
just
that
think
group
he's gonna
stage.
score though.
He may just score anyways. I'm looking at Argentina's group. I don't know. I'm not saying Messi would. I'm actually saying with the way Alvarez has played this year, he may have a look in for the Golden Boot because of how much he moves on and off the ball, how much
Yeah.
they're going to need him to score goals. Because Messi
Only
will
thing
be
is
able to work in spurts, but he's
penalties
not going to
though.
be up and down for 90 minutes,
The
right?
problem is like penalties. That's my only worry with Argentina is
It's true.
they
They have
do get
Messi,
a
yeah.
lot of penalties, and like Alvarez won't be taking those. Messi will
It's
be
true.
taking
Yeah,
them.
and then you have Kane.
So
I
that's the
yeah.
only thing. And Kane's the penalty. It's like France too, right? And um,
Mbappe will be taking those and Mbappe is right there to break the record.
it's like
Right? Like if he has a
Holland
big
got it
tournament, he
wrong.
breaks the all-time World Cup record and he's 27.
Yeah, I
It's
just think
insane.
like with everything you have to take into consideration how deep they go into like you have to pretty much like pick a top 5 or 6 team for top goal scorer just on
Yeah.
the basis of how far like you could say Holland like Holland that's the thing though at the same time Holland could score 7 goals in 3 games and
Hmm.
like they don't even and then he plays one round of 32 round of 16 he's out
Yeah.
so I think that's why we kind of see you kind of but again so yeah
I'm
no I
gonna
agree.
pick as a fun little pick. I don't think this is gonna happen. I just think based on the two teams I have in the final, I don't think Spain's gonna have that out and out guy who's just gonna score all their goals. I think that's gonna be done by committee. And I think Alvarez will be a surprise sort of like
Hey, it's a great show. It's a great show.
blows up
Open
in the
goals
tournament.
will come for him and from him and Messi. So
And
yeah,
Messi will turn provider more often than score, in my opinion. Obviously, with the penalties, you make a great point because Alvarez will not be taking penalties.
no,
Um,
and but yeah, no, and I guess yeah, just like off that point, leading into like my most assists, I have Messi. Just
yeah, that's interesting, right? Like, I think it would be between like Messi and Yamal. I think Yamal is going to have a really phenomenal tournament, especially
only
because I think
two.
they're going to win. But I think Yamal is just such a phenomenal player. This is kind of his first ability of being like a coming out party in a World Cup. He had such a phenomenal Euros performance, leading I'm not sure if you could say leading them, but having a phenomenal tournament, kind of carrying them a little bit at times to get to that
Mhm.
final and win it.
It
And
reminds me.
I'm gonna have
Oh,
Yamal as the top assist guy. I
yeah.
just feel I think he'll
Again,
take a couple corners.
he's number two for me. And again, I was gonna say
Mhm.
Yamal going into this tournament. Do you remember like Mbappe going into the 2018? Like he was kind of like we knew about him, but
Mhm.
we didn't expect kind of like what to happen, like what he
Yeah,
did. Like he
he
scored
was
World
coming off
Cup
the bench and
final.
then becoming this like live wire that
And
he
then like
became.
he hasn't
Yeah,
looked back since then, and I think Lamal's ahead of him in the sense of where they are in their
yeah.
age and like what they've won. And I think Lamal again, like he's yeah, it's just proof in like the pudding on like what we've seen on the
Yeah.
field. So
And
I'm with you on
and
that.
going with the kind of by committee thing, I think Yamal's going to have assists with a bunch of different
Yeah,
guys. I just think they're a phenomenal team, and they can't afford to stat pad in sort of the Saudi Arabia, Cabo Verde games. So
so.
I think that's a decent pick.
Question though, like for MVP or like player of the tournament, do they go? Is it like whoever like was like the like it has to be from the winning team, is it not? So they've like since I
Messi
said
won it in 2014, so it doesn't necessarily have to
but
be.
the final pretty
I think
much.
it's aided by the fact that if you do win the tournament, a lot of times it's that. I feel like Luka Modric won it as well in 2018
Let
when
me
they
see.
lost it. So it does have to be a team that advances far enough to play enough games and is crucial in them getting to that stage. Um,
Let me see.
I'm looking
Luka
at my
Modric. Yeah, you're
bracket,
right.
so
Like my
that's
problem
tough.
is
I don't
like
think it's gonna be anyone from England unless it's Harry Kane. But I don't have him winning Golden Boot, so I can't really pick based on that. Um,
I'm going Messi. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just think this is just like just the
mhm,
form. Even obviously, I'm gonna stick to it, and I agree with you on the sense of like
mhm.
anyone for like Lamal's there for sure too. But again, like I have him going out so early that it's just hard for me to.
Yeah, that's true because you have them going out in that round of
Um,
16 stage. I'm gonna put Yamal again. I think
yeah,
this could be his coming out party. I love Messi. I would love for him to win another World Cup. Um,
I'm
that being
being
said, he has
extremely
gotten older, and
optimistic.
I don't know if he's going to be able to play as many 90s. I know for a fact that in 45 minutes he can look exactly like he's always looked.
It's a good
I
thing they
don't
have
know if he can
they have a
handle
nuclear
8 games.
It's a good thing. I'm telling you now he'll play, but if he's coming off a little bit of an injury, so he has been resting recently. That's like
Yeah.
the only thing. So yeah, again, like I agree with you. So
So I think we both made good picks for that. I think
yeah,
those are likely lead winners of that.
yeah,
And I think in terms of young players, I mean obviously Yamal's going to be there, but I think he's so in the forefront of our minds going into the World Cup. Like he's one of five
you
players you
can't
think
pick
about.
anyone else, so that's the problem. Like for me, I was gonna say him, but I was also like give shouts to like Desiree Doué,
And so Due could have a phenomenal World Cup. The Turkish kid, why am I
Guler,
forgetting his name?
Arda Guler.
Arda Güler, I think he could have a phenomenal World Cup. I think if Jan Diomande gets the minutes for
Yeah,
Ivory Coast, he could be really exhilarating and get a huge. I think because no one's jumped on him in the transfer window, there's always those guys, those young guys who have a glittering couple games in the World Cup, and then their transfer fee is just out the wazoo the following summer, and we could have that happen with a guy like Diomande at Leipzig. Um, I don't really have anyone else that comes to mind. Those are the four I'm kind of thinking of. So
yeah.
it'll be interesting. I'm really excited to see how that turns out. I think Yamal is obviously the obvious pick for the young player of the tournament.
He's the front runner again. Like even mine though, like I couldn't even say him just on the sense of like England knocked him out so early. So
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
um. But again, I think Musiala is a shout. I think Shirky's a shout. I don't even know if they like qualify anymore though with their age. I'm trying to think. Like I feel like Shirky for some reason is way older than what he is.
Oh,
But
that's right, check. Yeah, I'm not sure how which. I feel like he's 23, 24, if I had to guess. I don't really know. I'm not sure if he's young. Um, Let me search this up.
he's 22.
Okay, around there. I'm not even sure what the cutoff is. I just know that Yamal fits in there, and he's probably the best among the bunch. So
Yeah,
it's a safe pick. Um, and yeah, I mean, we've covered every single team.
we're
We've
a
waited to do
lot
this
to.
for a while. I'm just excited for the tournament to start.
We're gonna have a lot more to cover with these games, and I'm gonna be curious to come back and like we can maybe like go through each one, like our bracket kind of as we go through and see how our predictions
Absolutely.
are showing. Even like the groups, I think once the group stage rounds up, we'll revisit all our predictions, and then we can kind of just see, if I had a better prediction, you had a better prediction, and
I mean, yeah, it's
I'm curious to see too. I hope people like disagree with us, and like I hope people are able to say, you know what,
for sure. I mean, we
you're
both
a
had some
psychopath.
riskier picks in the group stages about maybe who gets out and who could. We both have Turkey going to that quarterfinal, which I think is hilarious. I just
And
think that
I got Norway beating Brazil. I think that's my like
that's a big one. That's a big one. I'm excited to see how Norway look. I don't know if they'll
same.
have the depth, but I could be wrong about that because Bodo Glimt has had such a remarkable season,
Yeah.
and they have a lot of Norwegians to pick from that have all
And
played
they've
together.
beaten some
So
top teams. So
they may beat some. They could very easily beat any team at this tournament. It just depends whether they can do it 5 times in a row to really get to that stage. They could easily go to semifinal, quarterfinal. You never know. They could be that dark horse that we're talking about. Um, but that's our World Cup preview. Thanks for joining in, guys. I don't think we have much else to cover. I think we covered every blade of grass on this. Genuinely.
yeah, we covered a lot, and yeah, I'm just curious to see what other people think, and I can't believe we're how many days now. I was just saying, it just feels like so long ago that it was announced, and now that
I
it's
know.
like next week is just so.
And when this drops, it's going to be 3 days until the first game, and I'm excited to see what that Mexico South Africa rematch from 16 years ago is going to look like, and how Canada and the U.S. come out on Friday. So
World Cup fever
just
is
excited,
yeah.
just excited,
No,
man,
I'm stoked. I
just
cannot wait.
excited. All right, guys, we're off.
Thank you.
Peace.
Peace.